What's happening, guys? It's a quarantine episode again of Pass the Gravy. It's episode 352, and my guest on this week's quarantine podcast, model, fitness guru, warrior goddess. I really want to learn about that. We got Liz Marshall. What's happening, Liz? Thanks for coming on the pod.
Thanks for having me.
I feel like we've been kind of going back and forth on Instagram, talking about. I've been meaning to have you on for like a couple of months, and like I'm glad we finally got to do it.
Me too. If something good comes out of quarantine, then the better, right?
Yeah, right. So, okay, just quickly, warrior goddess. It's on your Instagram. What is a warrior goddess to those that may not know? Because I don't know what a warrior goddess is.
I think it's just a concept. It's like a poetic concept in my head that just describes and drives my artistic side. It's sort of like a duality to me. I've always felt driven by a duality, like, and I love combining opposites to make art. So like fierceness and beauty, or iron and femininity, I think are just really cool things to combine from an artistic perspective. And I enjoy being feminine, but I also enjoy being fierce. It's just kind of a part of who I am. So I think it just, I don't know, it's just something I've always identified with. And it's kind of like my Sasha Fierce. You ever hear Beyonce say that? That's like her alter ego. It's kind of like my Sasha Fierce. It's the thing that just runs the other side of me.
I do know Sasha Fierce is good to be. You don't want to be Becky with the good hair.
That's
what Beyonce has taught me, at least.
Yeah. So that's I guess warrior goddess is my nameless Sasha Fierce.
Okay. I like it. Fierce is a cool word too. Like fierce. Like it just sounds cool to say.
It does sound cool to say. Yeah, it's not a word I think that a lot of women say in the context that I use it, at least.
Do you use the word boss bae or boss babe a lot? Because I feel like that's very hot on the internet.
I mean, no, I'm
not knocking people that do. I'm just saying it's almost like went to the grocery store, #boss babe, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Okay, guys.
I don't think you're a boss babe for going to the grocery store.
I mean, hey, if you went and I didn't go, like that is boss. That's boss. But like, I don't know. Maybe we're getting a little carried away, you know?
Maybe we're getting a little carried away.
But yeah, cool. Warrior goddess. I was just like, I had to tag that to ask you right off the bat. Okay. So, if for those of you that are only listening to the audio version, I feel like maybe it's a good thing because I'm very jealous of where you are right now. You're in Colorado and she's just sitting in front of a window with just like, I could see like behind the window, there's a tree and it's just like open Colorado air and like, I'm very jealous. How awesome is it to be in Colorado right now? It's very hot outside here in Texas. So I don't know how cold it is.
Well, that's the reason I'm in Colorado. That's the reason half of Texas has a house in the Vail Valley. Is to get away from Texas summers. If you can, you will. The summers here are amazing. It's 80 degrees every day and no humidity. So
that's awesome.
I know. That legit is why we're here. People think we come here to ski. It's not nearly as much that as it is July in Houston.
Can you ski right now?
No. They shut down skiing early this year because of the coronavirus.
The Rona, yeah, it ruined everything, didn't it?
It did. It ruined ski. I mean, if it ruined the ski lodges, that's pretty bad.
I heard I've heard somebody talk about them doing like, is it ski lift parties when there's not ski season, where they like you can just go like look at everything. They'll take you up to the top of the lift. You can just take a look over everything when it's not ski season. Like, do you know anything about that?
I don't know anything about lift parties, but they'll definitely do that. I think more people are starting to realize that some of these ski resorts like Banff in Canada and Jackson Hole in Wyoming and Vail and Aspen and some of these other places are amazing in the summertime for hiking and biking and, just all the outdoor stuff, like fly fishing and they do a lot of that up here, but there's a lot of adventure companies up here and it's not just skiing. Like the mountains offer so much more than just that.
I have never been skiing in my life.
It's scary.
Really? Yeah. I mean, after Sunny Bobo, I don't know, like I heard bad things, so I don't want to end up that way. I know I'll be the guy that goes right into a tree. I know I'm going to do that 100%. That'll be my first time skiing right into a tree. I'm dead. And they're like, remember Alex when he told us that was going to happen? They'll use this audio.
Who dies like that? That is so scary. I think unless you take it up when you're 5, like you're too scared. Like these little kids go whizzing around like it's nothing. That's like, oh my God, you're gonna die. Do you not know? No, they don't know. They don't
Like
know.
I was never like able to do like wakeboarding. Like I've tried wakeboarding, but like I just sucked at it. And it's like the kids that grew up on a lake know how to do it and they're the best at it. And I'm never gonna be that level. So why even try?
I know. Yeah, exactly. Like get it good at some grown up thing.
But there's like
Like
things you
wear a
can
bucket
die
hat.
doing, and I don't want to
Huh?
die skiing. Like there's
I
ways
don't.
you could go, and it's like if I go skiing, then I'm like, look at that dickhead over there. You remember when Alex went to Vail? Just went right into a tree. What an idiot! What an idiot! Like I don't
To
know.
be
I don't.
honest, I think Sunny Bone is kind of like who dies like that. You. Okay, that's mean.
Who
I shouldn't
dies
say that.
like that?
You're skied
We'll
into a
cut that. We'll
tree.
cut
That sucks, dude.
Do you
I'm not
see it
laughing at
coming?
somebody dying. That just sucks. I don't want to die like that.
No, yeah, yeah. Obviously, we're all just messing around here. Don't like somebody's gonna get mad, but the Gravy Gang's cool. Gravy Gang's cool. They don't really get offended. Although somebody did send me a very nasty email about our last thing. I got caught. I was gonna use it as a not cool, but I'm just gonna briefly say that I don't feel like I should be weighing in on riots. That's what I got. It's not my place. It's not my place. That's why I didn't do it. And somebody was very upset that we didn't use our platform where we make dick jokes to speak out.
Well, the last time I checked, it's your platform, correct?
Right. And I was like, as a white, I don't really have a say. It's not like, it doesn't matter what I say.
I would stay out of it. And I think you're smart.
I can just make people mad, but apparently my science made people mad. That's all we're going to go into on that. Let's talk more about you though. So, so model and you're into fitness. We had Ivory Hecker from Fox in Houston on a couple weeks ago in my quarantine episode. And she is a big fitness guru as well. And just like, do you get sick and tired of working out? Because I was telling her, like, I can't do it. Like, I'll go, like, I'm going to go run. I'll do it for like 3 weeks. I'm like, it sucks. I don't ever want to do it again. Like, I just hate it.
I do. I mean, it's not, all that stuff that you guys talk about on the other show and, all the stuff that people say about burning out is true. It's hard work. People want, I think because it's human nature, they want a pill or an easy plan, which I'm working on.
Yeah,
But I
would
think
love
they want
to
a
know.
magic pill to just make them skinny and make life easy. It is a lifestyle, it's a lifestyle. And there are days where you don't want to do it, but you do it anyway. And those days where it really, really is hard, they get behind you fast if you're really into it. Getting started is the hardest part, just like a podcast, just like a modeling career, just like anything. It's getting started is the hardest part. If you can get yourself over the first 4 to 6 weeks, I think you've got a really good shot at hanging in there from seeing results.
Still, are you like, do you wake up and you're like, I don't want to work out? Or you're like, I'm just going to get it done?
My husband and I have a very delicate balance of how to like motivate to get stuff done when I don't want to do it, about how I'm going to get fat. And it's actually pretty funny, but it's
like fat shaming, basically.
Basically, yeah.
That's how I am. Like, I feel like people talk about like fat shaming is terrible. And like to an extent, yes, I understand that. But like, I personally fat shame myself when I'm like, oh, you're kind of getting you're putting on some pounds, buddy. Quit being a fat ass. Go run. And like, I'll do it. And then I'll feel like, okay, maybe I don't feel so fat anymore. And then I stop. And then when I feel it again, I'm like, you piece of shit, you better get back out there and start doing it.
Work out. That's how.
But now people are like, it's mean.
No, the people, I mean, anybody that says that is not delineating what we're talking about here.
Oh yeah.
Nobody should ever be made to feel bad for who they are. And I've never met anybody personally that would ever make anybody feel bad for who they are. But should there be things that motivate you to do better in all aspects of your life? Of course. That's part of being alive.
Like that Adele thing where everybody was like, oh, she looks great. And then they were like, well, now why are you saying that she has to be slim to look great? It's like, whoa, nobody said that. We just said she looked good.
Nobody said that.
She's happy. Yeah. We're happy for her. Why is it's not about like sex or anything like that, which is what you're over sexualizing her. And it's like, no, we're just saying she looks good. She lost weight. Like if you have a friend that loses weight, you're like, hey man, you look great.
I personally kind of think that it's sad where we are. I think that where we are with that, and because I mean that whole reactionary mindset spans a whole lot more than just weight and fitness and stuff. But I think just people are on edge right now, and I don't know. I don't try to feed into the toxic part of it. To me, there's balance. It is toxic to make people feel bad about who they are. And no, you don't have to be any sort of a certain size to be beautiful or sexy or look good. But there's also such a thing as unhealthy. There is such a thing as not feeling good about yourself. I mean, those are things that need to be talked about too. They're not talked about. And
Mm-hmm.
we're starting to have new problems because those things are not talked about. And, people like Jillian Michaels, every once in a while will get brave. Like, I think she got in trouble a few months ago for saying something about Lizzo, maybe.
Yeah, she did. She did.
I
She
think
was
she
like, it's an
did.
unhealthy lifestyle. She was like, I'm happy you're happy in your own skin, but just know that's an unhealthy lifestyle to be living
But she's
long
not
term.
wrong. And nobody's saying that, but that's what I'm saying. People are too overly sensitive. And I don't have
People like to
anything
just get
against it.
mad. They like to,
Yeah, people like to get mad.
I want to tweet things that are upsetting because I'm upset. And just like the people that dig up old stuff, it's like, you're just looking for things to be mad about. Like the people that are like the people that were mad about Adele, it's like, you're just mad that like she did the workouts and you didn't, I think. I
That's
honestly think that's
right.
what some of them were like, well, why didn't I get to do the workouts? You could have, you didn't. Like, who cares? It's not her fault.
That's
And
right.
Adele
No,
wasn't the one getting mad about people either. It was other people getting mad for her. And I hate when people get mad on other people's behalf. That's one of my big bugaboos. When it's like, dude, like,
go
no,
Alex, go.
if they're mad at me, they can tell me. I don't need you to tell me why they should be mad at me.
That's right. That's right. You don't need to white knight for anybody. Like make them stand up for themselves.
Yeah, that is pretty. It's just the internet. That is the internet. But like I play into it too. Like I'm an asshole on the internet sometimes. So it's like I don't know.
Me
I get
too.
what I give.
Me too. Like the way I look at it is I just try to do what I feel like I'm responsible to do in my personal position. I mean, like,
Mm-hmm.
isn't that all that anybody can really do in my personal position? If somebody disagrees with me, I'm willing to talk to him about it, but I just sort of feel like I want to make people inspired to be better. Not that there's anything wrong with them the way they are.
Uh-huh.
I just want to show people new possibilities for being, whether that's mental, whether that's physical. So I think I have a responsibility to be kind and compassionate, but I also think I have a responsibility to be truthful.
Right,
And
which I think
and I
gets
won't
very
be anything
convoluted
else.
and all that.
Correct. I'm not going to be anything else. There's not a single person on earth that should feel bad about who they are because of their weight or anything else. And I'd never make somebody feel bad about that. But there is a difference, and anybody that cries about it is wrong. So, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
that's just a fact. You're wrong. You can cry about it all you
there
want.
is
You're
such
still
a
wrong.
thing. There is such a thing as science and health, and like Lizzo, I really don't know anything about her and have nothing against her. If she's happy, I genuinely mean it. More power to her. Sometimes, it's different things make people happy, but
Yeah.
it's not healthy, and you're not like Satan for saying so.
Right.
So
I 100% agree. I think a lot of people don't understand that just because you're upset or offended doesn't mean you're right. That's a
right,
big one.
right.
Like you can be
Like
upset
I'm
and scream and
sorry that
shout, but you're not right always.
Well, like sometimes people will come like for advice about something like nutrition, especially. Um, People don't want to hear it, but nutrition is 80% of this. And but they hear, the reason they don't want to hear that is because they have emotions that are attached to that. And it's normal. A lot of people do. They have
Mm-hmm.
emotions of, oh man, I'm diet, starving. I can't eat anything. This is going to be awful. This is going to be, and that's what they've got connected to it in their head. But you can reconnect that. I eat 6 times a day. I'm never hungry. I burn
6
2,000
times a
calories just
day?
sitting around the house. Yeah.
Whoa.
It's teaching people to reframe wellness in their minds, because most people have not been taught the correct things about nutrition, about activity, et cetera. So that's kind of what I like. That ties into what I was saying a minute ago. Telling someone when they're unhealthy it's not diminishing who they are.
Right.
I
It's just
mean,
trying to like you could maybe, give them a little jump start to like get better and improve.
yeah. And if you don't want to, cool. I'm sure you're a great person. Let's hang out. I mean,
I mean, you don't have to tell
it's
the
not
guy at the
hatred.
grocery
It's not
store.
hatred is what I mean.
You don't have to tell the guy behind you at the grocery store, hey man, you look a little chubby. You should you should head to the gym or something. Like that's weird. But like if somebody goes to you, asks you for the advice and you're honest with them, they can't then be like, whoa, she called me fat.
Exactly. Like, exactly. So I try to maintain a balance of being truthful and being kind.
So you were talking about nutrition being like a big key of it. Like I've been like, there's a lot. Dieting is really big right now. My co-host Pat, he does the keto diet. He's on we call it the Pat keto diet because he follows keto 100%, except for Wednesdays when he does the podcast, and that's when he allows himself to drink like 9 beers. So like really, like it's like you're really going off the rails on those. But like so like, I mean, he's lost some weight. Like he originally was going to Maine for a funeral last year and wanted to make sure that he didn't have to pay for two seats. So he was like, I'm going to do keto a couple months out, and he crushed it and did a great job, lost weight, and was able to like, he achieved his goal and he stuck to it. And man, like he is losing the weight, and it's awesome. Like the amount of like just dieting that like people are seeing results on from keto. But like, I'm also noticing like intermittent fasting, because you were talking about eating 6 times a day, right? Like intermittent fasting is another thing. And it's like, I think that's like a millennial way of just like when you forget to eat. Cause I sometimes like if my girlfriend's out of town, I just forget to eat. And she's like, did you eat today? I'm like, I had some cookies.
That's a poor 20-something-year-old's way of dieting.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's like intermittent fasting is like, yeah, I just didn't eat for 10 hours. It's like, okay, so that's a diet. It's a diet. No, I'm fasting. But like,
but
are they all flawed? Are there goods in all of those, and are there bads in them? Like, what do you think is the most effective method for people right now? Or is it just depending on like who you are?
It's a broad question. And
I know,
like the
yeah,
reason, no, it's okay, because there's really no more specific way to ask it. Like that was something that I think a lot, like me included, a lot of people get into fitness to do. Like we're really passionate about trying to streamline this for people. Like how can we help people get fit and feel better and all this other stuff? And you realize as you really start learning that people are different. Bodies are different. Men and women are different. Ethnicities are different as far as health things that they can suffer from. I mean, people are so different that there really is not a one size fits all for everybody. But keto works, in my opinion, if you're trying to drop. Like it was Atkins back in the day when I tried it.
It was no bread, right?
Low carb.
Yeah. Okay.
And it does make you drop weight. There's no doubt about that. I don't know enough about keto to like really give you a hard opinion on it. I know that Atkins, which is low carb, will make you drop a ton of weight really fast, but it's not sustainable.
Because you have to like stay on that diet only, right? Like you can't,
Correct.
Like, you just can't go back to eating pizza and stuff after that, or else you're just gonna, what's it called? It's a yo-yo dieting, right?
Yeah. And South Beach, I think like, I remember, so I'm talking about when I used to do all these diets before. I eat differently now. I see a nutrition coach now that writes me diets that used to do. So I see bodybuilder coaches now
Nice.
because they know the most about aesthetics and how to make your body look a certain way. But when I was doing, when I was, I guess, a civilian and doing all these diets before, it was Atkins and South Beach. So I know about keto. I think it's light Atkins, but I'm personally doing intermittent fasting right now because I like it. It just works for me from a time perspective. Like I don't even have to think about eating in the morning. I don't start eating until 1. And
you get hungry though?
Yeah, but it's not time to eat. Up. It's just not time to
drink a lot of water.
Yeah, and it balances out after a day or two. If you can hang with some difficult stuff for a pretty short period of time, you'd be surprised how quick you can push through it.
And so like, what are your hours that you don't eat between?
So, succinctly, I do 8 hours a day, an 8-hour a day window of eating. If I'm just on like a normal schedule, I tighten it up to 6 hours a day if I'm trying to diet or get ready for something.
Okay.
But I like to eat. I personally put that window daily. It needs to be the same every day. But I like that window from 1 to 9. So that's just when I eat. That's when I eat.
How often in between those do you have your 6 meals? Like,
so when I'm doing the intermittent fasting, I don't necessarily get in 6 meals. I kind of, usually it's 4 if I'm on a very specific plan for a shoot or something. But I just kind of eat what I know are good carbs and good proteins and good fats throughout my eating window. When I'm doing the 6 meals a day, you're usually not on intermittent fasting if you're doing that. People that do that usually do that as a bodybuilder diet. That's how bodybuilders eat.
But now, like when you're eating 6 meals a day, are you eating like, are there lighter meals and then you have heavier meals, or like you're not having like a piece of beef every single meal, are you? Like, are some of them just like nuts in a salad and like that's one, and then like do you try and like this is gonna be my big meal, or are they all just kind of the same size meals that you have?
Are you talking about like when I'm doing the intermittent fasting, or if I'm?
Or I guess when you're breaking down the 6 times a day, I guess when you're eating. Because I always wonder, like, is it the same thing? I never know. I feel like I would be terrible at that because I'd be like, well, I had 3 steaks and then I had a bowl of soup and a salad. So I'm pretty healthy, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would too. Like um, I had to get bodybuilding coaches to teach me about nutrition. I actually, like, from everything that I've learned and seen, I absolutely believe that's the best way for anybody to learn about nutrition is to hire a bodybuilding coach. Everything is a mix of, it comes down to macros, carbs, fats, and protein, and in what ratio you eat those things. And I mean, you can even get down to as specific as what time, how soon after you've broken down your muscle fiber. I mean, the way, like you talk about Lee Labrada and his son, they're real
Yeah.
famous. And so, some of those guys, like Hunter, Lee's son,
Uh-huh.
I don't know him personally, but I follow him because he's a big deal in the bodybuilding community. Some of those guys get down to details about protein and carbs and times. It's insane what they do, but it's because it works. It's amazing, like, what an exact science nutrition is. It's just we eat a lot of food that is processed and has garbage in it that clogs up all sorts of stuff in our systems. And, if it doesn't fly or walk on the ground or come out of the water or grow out of the ground, you probably shouldn't eat it.
Does chocolate grow on the ground?
I think so.
So that's good then. I can eat as much chocolate as I want.
Yeah, but like people think, oh man, this is, if I go on, if I start eating in a way that's going to be good for me and make me look and feel good, my whole life's going to suck. But that's not true.
Yeah. But then I've also heard like it's the exact opposite when you start doing it. Where you're like, no, I feel great. I'm always up. I'm energetic. I used to have used to be sluggish. Now I'm not. And it's like, I wish I had the self-control to do that. Because I always am like I go into it and I just get over it in like a couple of weeks. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. Like,
well, you're still young and skinny.
Yeah, I don't try to be. See, I'm getting to that way, like where the metabolism's going. Like I'm in my 30s now, so it's like, haha, you got to do more stuff to stay thin. And then it's like, damn it.
It's
catching up.
So people who are older than you, like Rod, like we can't wait to start being like, you're getting fat now, aren't you?
Oh,
you're
yeah.
to see now, aren't you?
It's happening. It's happening. It is terrifying. It is terrifying. Like I'm seeing gray hairs and terrifying. That. Well, I'm terrified of it. Okay.
I can help you. I'm in Houston too, Alex. We can be friends and I can help you.
Okay.
I can blow a whistle in your face.
Do that. Yeah. If you got whistles, people listen to people with whistles. That's a fact of life. It's just a fact. So like if I was trying to be like I don't want to work out, Liz, tell me how I can just be like, I can eat smart and just get like jacked. Can I just get like, can I look super yoked without actually working out and just eating right?
Well, it depends on your genetics if you don't want to work out at all. If you're like some genetic, if you genetically have a ton of muscle, you probably could just manipulate your water levels and get your body fat down real low, which is what bodybuilders do before they get on stage. And all your muscle would just pop out because you have such little body fat and water that's covering it up.
I think I have 9.5 or I have like 10-ish% body fat according to my last biometric screening.
That's really
for my
well
insurance.
for a man. That's still low for a man.
Yeah. They were like, wow, that's really good. I was like, yeah, I just like, I don't have any muscle. So like, I don't have anything to go with it. I weigh like 140 pounds. I'm just.
Well, single digit body fat percentages for anybody is like low. That's what people aim for shows. And it's harder for women. Women have more body fat naturally than men do.
Oh yeah. Like I know that like NFL running backs and stuff, like I can't remember who it was. It was like, I have like 3% body fat. And I was like, how do you do that? Like it doesn't seem like that's possible. I was like, what is in you? Like, what are you? Just muscle only? Like there's not enough body, right? There's gotta be other stuff.
I'm impressed by athletes like that. Like there are people I'm impressed by too, like Hunter Labrada. Really?
If you don't know who the Labradas are, just go Google like Lee Labrada. They all look that way. They're all just jacked. Like I think Lee was Mr. Universe. Right?
Yes, he was. Yeah. He's a nice guy too.
He's come onto the morning show a couple of times and he is like the sweetest human being ever. Like I didn't understand any of the bodybuilding stuff. And like, he's honestly, I got a bunch of questions to ask you just because of him. Cause I was kind of talking to you before we did the interview. Like he was talking about teaching his son like poses and stuff at these bodybuilding competitions. And like, I didn't put together, like, it seems like you just go and you're like, cool, like, let me flex here. Let me flex here. Oh, no. The beach that way, ladies. And it's like, no, you got to walk this way. You have to like put this right here, or else you're not going to show your glute as much as you want to show this by flexing it that way. And it's like he dumbs it down to where I'm like, whoa, like that's crazy. It's like inside baseball, but for bodybuilding. And like I never had an appreciation for it until I'm like, shit. Like, I mean, I know like obviously you're working out all the time, you're putting a lot of effort into it, but it's like those little things that you don't even see. That's just one more thing to have to worry about going into that. You did bodybuilding competitions and whatnot, but like talk to me about like the posing and all that stuff. Cause I remember you were posting stuff about how you were walking out. You had like a coach with you, right?
You're talking about walking out on the stage at a show?
Yeah. Didn't you have like a posing coach? I want to say like I saw one of your videos.
Yeah. So you do, well, I go to posing coaching, before a show, and you try to learn how to, the goal is to learn how to pose before you go and do a show. And men and women's, categories, are different in bodybuilding shows.
Their bodies are very different as well. For instance,
correct.
Men have some things that women don't have, and vice versa.
Correct. But even in women, like they have bikini class, which is small. It's smaller. It's always changing, but it's generally smaller, more feminine looking. And the pose, that's what I competed in, and the posing is difficult. I would imagine that girls that are dancers are good at it. I was never good at it. It was one of the reasons I quit. It's because I didn't like it. Some girls are really good at it, but it takes a lot of talent. I thought I could walk in there, and I thought the same thing. Oh, all I got to do is work on my figure and my physique. That's all I got to do to
just
win.
Be in shape. Yeah.
Not even close. Not even close. It takes a lot of work to learn how to pose.
And that's what Lee Labrada was talking about with his son. It's like just like knowing like to do this with your hip to like show certain parts of you or whatever, or extend. I don't know. He was using better words that I don't remember right now.
It's a level of finesse that
it
just blows your mind. It blows your mind. Like,
yeah,
so especially
like in football, like that's the same thing in bodybuilding. It's like, oh, well, he can pose this just a little bit better than that guy. So that's why he wins instead of them, or her instead of her.
They're athletes. I mean, it's certainly different, but they earn that. And some people, I've heard people say too, oh, if I shot up steroids, I could do that too. No, you couldn't. No, you couldn't. Do
you do steroids in bodybuilding? No, but is that like illegal to do steroids in bodybuilding?
I believe it depends on the league that you're competing in.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I always just figured it was like, like most pro sports, like, no, you can't juice up and then compete in these.
It depends on what you're doing. So, but regardless, that's not a correct statement. You can't just do steroids and do what those people do. It's not even close. I mean, the hypertrophy, like the stuff involved in their training and diets. Yeah. And I mean, it's just, I don't know how they do it. Like I could maybe do it once, maybe twice, like get mad about losing the first time and do it again. Mm-hmm. I did it 4 times, and I finally was just like, my heart is not in this. So the people that do it, I mean, and it takes a toll on you. You're getting your water levels and your body fat levels down so low that you're kind of dumb for a week or so before a show.
Okay. Yeah, I would imagine.
You're so depleted.
I mean, I've never done anything like that, but I've juiced. So like that is nowhere near it, but like you just don't eat anything. You just drink all your meals basically. And it's like by the 3rd day, you feel like I'm stupid. Like I'm forgetting random stuff. I'm not able to remember what I had for breakfast this morning. Like there's just little things where you're just like a little bit off because like you don't have the fats or like the carbs that you're normally eating or whatever it is in your brain.
Yeah, and it's like that. So I mean, I don't know if people do it a different way, but most people I know do a peak week before they do a competition, which is a week where you're doing very specific nutrition, very specific water manipulation, where you're flushing and then you're restricting your intake so that you dry up. I mean, the science behind this stuff is unreal. So yeah. Most of like, I can only speak for myself, but I'm pretty muscular naturally. That was another reason I never really did well in the bikini class, is I'm sort of in between that class and the next class, just naturally. And the next class up is too big. They've let it get too big just over the years, and I just don't want to do it. So I just figured I'd make art instead. But I forgot where I was going with that. I'm ADD too. I'm sorry.
No, I'm like that's 100%. That's this show. People that are listening, like the joke normally on our Wednesday episodes is Robert is just like fed up with Pat and I because we'll be like, oh, we're gonna talk about this, and then we talk about a dog, and then we go off about dogs for 45 minutes. He's like, guys, get back to we were talking about. Well, okay, all right, sorry, but we just went on. I went on a rant about NASCAR names.
That dog conversation needed to be had.
Oh yeah. A couple months ago, we just went off about we were naming NFL quarterbacks. Like, that doesn't sound like a quarterback name. No, next one. And he's like, you just named like every quarterback in the league, and it was annoying. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I'm sure some people tuned out over that. But
it's got to be Colt McCoy-ish, or it doesn't count.
Look, see, Colt McCoy was one of them. I was like, that's a perfect quarterback name. Daniel Jones, perfect quarterback name. Like they sound. Cam Newton sounds like a quarterback.
I agree. I'm on your
Baker
side.
Mayfield, good sounding quarterback name. Like, just some people don't have a name that sounds like they would be a quarterback. Like Mike Glennon, it was like, I don't know about you. Jared Goff isn't a quarterback. Peyton Manning is a perfect last name for a quarterback. Awesome. Jimmy Garoppolo. Oh yeah, that's a quarterback name.
We could hang. I could reinforce all this stuff, Alex.
See, but this is what I'll do on the podcast for like 20, 30 minutes. And it's just like that. We were not at all on topic, but okay. That's just going to add 30 more minutes to a 3-hour podcast now. I promise it won't be 3 hours today. But, okay. So you were talking modeling, like, you do have awesome pictures online. Go follow her at Liz Marshall Fit. She's been a Rod Ryan Show Instagram feature of the day before, I think a couple times, right? But just once. We'll get you back on again. Back on again for sure. But so I have not done a bunch of photo shoots. We've had a couple for like work where we've had to do things for like our website. But like, I feel awkward as shit anytime I have to like pose for photos or something. Like, that is what you're doing in modeling nonstop. Does it feel awkward, like where it's like I have to look up and pretend that I'm not paying attention to the camera that's right in front of my face? Like, I can't pose, because they're always like, just smile. I'm like, hey, like, no, look up. I'm like, I don't know, like, I can't. I feel weird. Like, do you feel weird ever during a photo shoot, or are you just so used to it now that like you don't even notice it?
Not anymore. I mean, did I go through that? Yeah, for a couple of years. And it's funny looking back, because I sort of just did it as a hobby, because it's not a real job, quote unquote. So I sort of just, had a real job in my 20s, hustling and doing other stuff, and just doing this on the side because I liked making art and images, and I love photography, and I knew local people that did photography and modeling, and I just, it was just sort of a hobby. But I did not start out very good at it, and I was surprised because it was something I liked and wanted to get good at. It is, again, it's like you say about radio, it's not easy. You look until there's so much that goes into posing, and you look like a deer in the headlights when you think you look sexy, and you're like, wow, I look like that.
That's why, like, when you see people on Facebook posting their like homemade model shoots, and then you see like, oh, that's what a pro looks like.
They're doing
that's what
their best.
Becky over there is trying to look like, but she's not.
They're doing their best. To be fair, as most people who have ever tried to put a selfie online can attest to, it's harder than it looks. I mean, you have got to, one thing, especially if you're getting started in modeling and you're young, like I started maybe around 19. You have to learn to be brave. I mean, you've got to learn how to look. A photo shoot usually consists of hundreds of images, just snapping and snapping and snapping, and minor changes in the way that you're posing. So you have to be able to look at tons of horrible pictures of yourself where you've got a roll here and a flap there, and just you're twisted up weird over here, and not judge yourself or be too mean to yourself about it while you're searching for that one photo. Like, you'll see one photo in my feed that you think is stunning. That's out of 600. And I looked at 559 other pictures that sucked. That's how those go. And sometimes you can do 8 hours of an enormous amount of work for a handful of good pictures.
Yeah, I mean, it is amazing, because just like the two that I've done, like when they send you like, here's a file of 1,000 photos, pick the ones that you like. You're like, whoa.
That's how it goes. That's how.
And I always just get bored and pick like, this looks okay-ish, I guess. I don't know. Like, I couldn't narrow it down to just like one if I had to. That's nuts that you have to like, you're constantly doing that. But like, I just can't get over the fact like when they're like, all right, now pretend you're doing this. I'm like, okay. Like, do they ever do like in Zoolander where they're like, all right, you're a tiger. Be a tiger now. Come on.
I love that movie, by the way. That movie is the funniest freaking thing of all time. That is the greatest. That is proof that you just have to be able to laugh at yourself. If you're a model and you get offended by that, like, God help you. That's the funniest thing ever. That movie is so great.
I loved Zoolander. Yeah, that was great. It was a great movie.
I'm sure he's heard of hair gel. He's a male model. I was joking, Meekus.
His baby phone. The files are in the computer.
I've got an after funeral party to attend.
They were just a couple of harmless men having
I
an
can't
innocent
help it that I was
gasoline fight.
born. Perfect bone structure.
We could just quote the rest of that movie for like the rest of this podcast, and I think people would
That
be fine
movie
with it.
is hysterical because truthfully, I mean, I've been, one of the things that I was doing before I got married was running around traveling and meeting photographers in different areas and making money that way. So I've been to the coast and been around some of the, like the fashion communities and stuff, and they can be like that. They can be a little bit like wire. Like, you guys really think that looks good? It doesn't.
It's their own artistic interpretation, I guess.
Some of the high fashion stuff is just, it's like, it's ridiculous. And I think they know it's ridiculous. And so they made that movie to make fun of it. You know what I mean?
Like New York Fashion Week, like what was the one where they were just wearing like garbage bags and it was like homeless people is what they were trying to like mimic. And it was like, that is exactly what like half of New York Fashion Week. It's like, you're wearing a poncho. Like that's not like brave or innovative or anything. Like you just threw a blanket on. Like, and half of them, it's like, oh, she just wanted to put like a little thing on her tit, and like, okay, look, now she's got like a tit dress, cool.
We're gonna talk about this in Vogue for like a 3-page spread.
Yeah, right. I think you covered up your mic. Here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
we're
we're gonna do this. Yeah, we're gonna have like an editorial in Vogue about this while people like have weird expressions on their faces. Yeah, I think that they know deep down that it looks dumb sometimes.
Yeah.
So they made Zoolander to make fun of it.
But they know that people are going to talk about it. And I think that's part of fashion. It's like you want people to talk about whatever your brand is. And they're like, well, if we make them look weird, people are going to be like, okay, what's up with this guy?
I genuinely hope so. Because some of that modern art stuff gets to me too. It's like, dude, like I could do this. Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm really trying hard to understand. I'm trying hard to be artistic and cultured. Please explain. I don't understand how you painting a red dot in the middle of a white canvas is groundbreaking.
It symbolizes society and the exclusivity that everyone is in the red dot. And that's the 1%, Liz. That's the 1%. Whoa. And everyone else is the blank space. And it's a blank canvas because we have nothing, because the 1% has taken it away and deprived all of us. They are everything that is color. We are not. And you're like, oh, okay. And that's why I drew a dot.
Wow, man. Life changed.
Right. I also feel like sometimes they're just like, you have to turn something in 10 minutes. You're like, shit, nope. I'm gonna spend it somehow though.
Well, I'm not trying to be ugly.
No, I get what you're saying.
I just kind of musings about my travels. I remember once when I was in Chicago, the Museum of Contemporary Art was near where I was staying. And so I was like, oh, that'll be cool. I've got some free time.
That's the Ferris Bueller one, right?
I think so. I think it is. Actually, I never thought about that. But I was like, let's go. That's going to be cool, right? Because I love museums. I've been to the Fine Art Museum in Houston a million times. Love the Natural Science Museum. So I was like, let's go. It's going to be cool. Dope. Art
museums are boring as shit to me sometimes. They're like, I can't just go look at pictures. Well, my attention span, like I appreciate it. It's just something that like, I'm not going to get it. And I'm just like, I can stare at it and pretend that I'm paying attention to this painting, but I'm really just like, have I stared at it long enough to where people don't think that I don't understand what's going on? All right, I'm going to move to the next one.
But that's how I felt at that museum. That's what I'm saying. If you put a Reuben in front of me, like something that's real art, I can be like, wow. And I can stand there for 10 minutes and go over how amazing it is because it's actually amazing. Like I went to this museum and I'm just like, I didn't know what to think. And I just left kind of mad. Like, am I supposed to feel bad about being uncultured or is this stupid? I was like, I'm pretty sure this is just stupid.
That's the beauty of art, because like you can pass stuff off. Like I'm not knocking artists at all, but it's like you can just do whatever you want and be like if people don't understand, like it's art, you wouldn't get it. Like that's an awesome
thing.
You wouldn't understand it, all right?
If I don't get it, then go to your coffee shop and make fun of me. That's your right.
That's tight. Yeah. I don't know. Art's cool. Like it's cool, like the interpretations, but then there's like graffiti art is awesome. But then there's some people that just don't give a shit about graffiti art.
I just like things that involve talent. If it involves talent, I can get on board with it. I mean, literally anything, hip hop, country, things that people fight about, art, writing. I mean, just about anything I can get on board with if it involves talent.
She said writing, not rioting, not rioting, writing. Just FYI, guy that DM'd me earlier.
Yeah, we're not talking about rioting on this show.
We're not talking riots, all right? not talking riots. This show is a riot, but it's not that kind of riot.
Not that kind of riot.
Not that kind of riot. So you're talking about like just like photographers that like we were doing the whole like you're a tiger thing, but like getting into modeling young. Like I've always heard the like talk about like just there's like creep photographers out there. Like, did you ever have to like deal like? I mean, it's because it's hard to like if you're a photographer and you're artsy and all that like. But like some girls want to do like nude photo shoots or some girls want to do like risque photo shoots and like you're a photographer that like that's your job. But like there are people I feel like that get into it because like I'm gonna see nude chicks. Like I'm gonna try and get.
For sure.
And like, did you like you don't have to go into like extensive detail or anything like that, but like, did you ever find like did you run across a bunch of those as you were like
More
coming
than
up?
once, more than several times. And this is what I tell girls. But it's not indicative of the whole industry.
Right.
Like, and this is what
it's like anything. A couple bad ones ruin it for some others.
Exactly. I've run into, I can count them on more than one hand, photographers that were creeps. Some of those people were also very famous. Some of those people were also very talented. So I learned a long time ago that there are people that you do business with and that's it. Sometimes there are those people in life. I'm not trying to be ugly to or about anybody, but it's just, I can tell that you're sort of toxic and I don't want that in my life, but I recognize that you're talented and maybe we could make some cool stuff too. So I just learned how to handle myself on my own young.
Like,
you've got to draw boundaries.
Yeah. Like, what are some like tell, like, I don't know. I just like the tells that you can pick up on guys. Like, I would assume like, if they're just like, hey, I'd love to work. Like you get a bunch of creepy DMs still like where it's like, hey, I'd love to work with you and photo you. Like, you mind sending me some like pics or whatever? Like, and it's just like, you like, I know that this guy's just trying to get creepy pics of me. Like he's trying to get pics of me or he's trying to do this. Like, is it like, do you pick up on certain stuff where you're like, all right, this guy's somebody I'm not working with? Like how, like, what are the tells that you have had or you've picked up on as you've been
I mean, just basic professionalism. If you don't have, you need to, I mean, if you're a photographer, just like if you're a model, you know, I mean, just like if you're in the industry, you need to understand your liability, like your part of what you need to put forward with what you're trying to do. If you're a photographer and you want to shoot with me and you don't have a website, you don't, or an Instagram page, you don't have anything for me to check you out. You don't have anything for, you know, for me to look at. That's a no, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, it's not personal. I just, if I can't vet you, I can't meet with you, especially alone.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So, you know, if people are unprofessional, if people use, I'm not, you know, a grammar snob, but if they are just horrifically bad writers, it's like, dude, you're not smart enough to work with. Well, for real, but
no, it makes sense. There are times like that where you're like,
people.
Yeah.
You vet people and you learn to trust your gut. And really the worst thing that's ever happened to me, I've been lucky. You know, I'm sure there are girls that have horror stories and I genuinely feel bad for them. I'm not, I can't speak on that personally, but the worst that's ever happened to me is getting into the middle of a shoot, not nude or anything, but realizing this guy was a creep and just having to work a little harder to make him behave for a couple hours. I mean, you know, it's really not bad for you. You're not a victim. You don't have to be. You learn how to stand up for yourself. You know,
I think that's new though. Like that's just like, that's something that this generation is kind of like pushing forward where it's not really been like at the forefront before. Like, and I'm all for like the Me Too moment, like Me Too movement. I think there were things that got taken out of context and taken away the wrong way from it. But I think like I agree. Like, yeah, let's point out the fucking Harvey Weinsteins and the creeps that are giving jobs away for these certain things. But then like also like, I'm sure that like there's people that make inappropriate jokes, but like, and like, I'm sure you've worked with people that are like, okay, like that's an off-color joke, but I know how you are. So it's okay. Like, I mean, I get that you're not being a predator by just making a weird joke. Like we're friends, we do stuff like, you know, but like, I think there's people like that it gets taken out of context. And it's like, oh, I didn't realize that I thought we were friends like that. But like, you seem like you're a very good judge of that kind of stuff. And like, like, this guy's just he's kind of silly. He's goofy. He's a little pervy, but not like in a creepy way. Like he makes a joke every now and then, whatever. Okay. Ha ha.
Yeah. I learned a long time ago, like the way that if I had to put it out loud, the way I put it is there's good people and there's bad people. Most people are good. Mm-hmm. However, flawed. I'm flawed to hell and back. I mean,
same here.
That's not a condemnation of anybody else. Most people, in my opinion, are good, but and flawed, and that's fine. And most of them are harmless, and you can create boundaries and keep people at arm's length if you need to, and you can manage people as you need to. And then there are bad people, and there are those people in the world too, no matter where you are, what you're doing, and they just give off a vibe. And I don't really know how to explain it, but I learned how to identify it a long time ago.
Yeah, I didn't mean to get like too like serious into that. That's always just like interested in me because I know like you were saying like, oh, people say it's not a real job modeling, but it's like getting into modeling and finding somebody that's like authentic and it is actually like going to help you with your career as opposed to just a dude that wants to see you naked or whatever and take pictures of you. I feel like has to be very tough in the beginning where you're like, I got to find
It is in the beginning.
the right
It is in the
start.
beginning.
Because there's a lot of people that are just going to try looking to take advantage of somebody that they can see boobs of. Like that's
No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. I'm sorry to get off topic. You're exactly
no,
right.
you're good.
And it just, if I were to give any advice to people starting out, if you've got to make an investment, invest in a professional photographer. If a professional is not should never treat you that way, especially if you're paying them. So,
Yeah.
and you're going to be able to get, professional, good photographs and help with posing and everything else from a professional. You've got a lawsuit, they've got all sorts of trouble on their hands if they try anything funny. So, you're if you're doing trade for trade or some of this free stuff or, I understand, money doesn't grow on trees. I really do. But sometimes it's in your best interest to pay somebody.
Like that, okay, so that's a good one because, like, honestly, with like podcasting, like we have some sponsors and stuff, but like it's like I would imagine it's not the exact same, but it's sort of like you got to get it off the ground yourself. Where like, do you do a bunch? Like, did you do trade? Like, hey, like I'll like you're helping somebody build up like a portfolio, I guess, by letting them photograph you, and then in exchange they're giving you the edited photos. Like, did you do that for a long time before you finally found like, okay, or did you just pay a photographer right off the bat? Like, how did you go about that?
So, like I said, for a couple of years until recently, it was just a hobby, and I had other business interests on the side that paid bills, and then I started doing this, and this started helping me pay bills a little bit too. And it's been like a journey over a couple of years. I never imagined that it would get to the place that it is now. I'm
Yeah.
really glad that it has. It's just, this is something that was just a hobby for me for a long time.
I think you're covering your mic again.
Oh, because people were ugly and terrorized me on Facebook, and I had to go elsewhere and deal with it. This happened. It's kind of like a beauty from ashes thing, but
Yeah.
I do keep doing it. I'm really amazed that I've gotten this far. I've made 2 magazine covers at 36 years old in 2 months. That's amazing.
And you are actually on. We can still vote for you right now. I just voted before we recorded today for you to be on the cover of. Is it the next Maxim that's coming out?
I'm not sure which one it is, but I think I'm still first. The last time I checked, I was still first in the voting, which is amazing. I don't know how all this is happening.
I voted for Liz. My free vote for the day was received. It said, and then you can go. There's a link in your bio on your Instagram at Liz Marshall Fit. Is that the easiest way for people to go vote for you right now?
Yeah.
Go vote like a motherfucker for Liz. Every single day, I want you guys voting. I want you screenshot it, tag her, let her know that you voted for. I guess you don't have Twitter, so don't tweet us. Let us know you voted for at @PassAwayPod. Then just comment on one of her photos and say, just voted for you. Let her know.
Help a Houston girl get on the cover of Maxim.
Yeah. Let her know the Gravy Gang voted for her. We got the Gravy Gang. We have the Pass the Gravy bump, we call it sometimes. Like when we support soccer teams, we turn them around, like West Ham. I don't know if we turned West Ham around, but we supported a German soccer team that hasn't lost yet. So,
I'm on board. I'm on board.
We have the PTG bump is a thing sometimes. And we said Lil Nas X's Panini was going to blow up. It totally did. Because obviously we're right about everything. We said the Roughnecks were going to be the greatest team in the XFL. They were. That's just a fact. Like, we're correct about a lot of things. We're wrong about a lot of things, but we're correct about some too. And we're correct about Liz.
What do you call it? Podcast bump?
Can I what?
You call it the Pass the Gravy bump?
The PTG bump.
PTG bump. I'll take the PTG bump.
Yeah. So let's give her the PTG bump and then just go like comment on one of her photos and just hashtag Gravy Gang so she'll know that you voted for her.
Thank you.
We're going to get you there. I mean, you probably don't even need our help. You're already winning without us, but like now we're just going to blow out the competition.
I just think that would be, if the next thing I'm really thinking about doing is trying to build some sort of an inspirational or motivational platform, I think that'd be interesting. Made a first magazine cover at 36. Let's see if I can make Maxim next.
Yeah, you will. When you make Maxim. But yeah, you're talking inspirational speaking. Now, on this podcast, before I've even I think there are people that are inspirational speakers where like you have a certain life experience and like have you ever met one of those people? It's like this happened to them and that's all they talk about. Like they can't wait to tell you about like my girlfriend and I were watching like a shark thing. Like one of the first times we ever hung out, and I was like, I like Emma because she can bitch about these people with me. And it was this lady, like she was like, I'm an inspirational speaker, but like they were in a boat accident, and then there were sharks around them, and they didn't like nobody got killed by sharks, but she was like on the boat, and they waited a couple days till they got saved or whatever. And like this is one of the first times we hung out. We were in college, and I just remember being like, this lady will not shut up about like, oh my god, blah 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 blah. And I was like, I bet everywhere she goes, that's all she talks about. Like, and then like at the end of it, she was like, she's an inspirational speaker that talks about life at sea, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, of course, like, I mean, I'm not saying like that was a tragic experience. That was scary. Like, that's awesome that she was able to do it. But it's like sometimes like I think people let a certain moment define them for everything. And it's like,
I was just about to say that. It sounds like she's one of those people that allowed a traumatic experience to define her forever.
That's all she was about.
Sad. Yeah, that's sad when that
I'm
happens.
a boat crash survivor always. Like for the rest of her life, she's a boat crash survivor. Although I have been milking the eye injury survivor thing, but that's just me.
That was horrific, dude.
It was horrific. See, you get it. It was terrible. People were making fun of me, saying I was like an idiot. I had to record.
It's your eye. Like that's so creepy.
I had to record a podcast with this dude. He was like I'm a big Brother fan, and he was on it last year. And I was like talking to him, and I just had this hat and like had it pulled down so you couldn't really like see my eye because I was like my eye was like swollen shut almost. It just looked terrible. And I was like, he's gonna be like, what is up with this weirdo with the wonky eye? Like, what's going on with this guy? And I was like, I just have the bill down. He can't make fun of me.
That's right.
And he didn't. He was actually really funny when I told him.
Get your hat game strong, and you don't have to worry about that stuff.
Yeah. Always keep that hat game strong. Okay. So, back. Let me just talk about Colorado again. Have you seen any bears? Are there bears up there?
I saw a bear once. There's lots of bears up here.
I didn't know if like they hung out all the time. Like what kind of bear was it?
There's black bears up here, so they're.
That's the best bear, right?
If they hear you, they'll run. Like they don't want to confront you.
Is that your favorite kind of bear? Power rank. Let's power rank our favorite bears. Top 5. All right.
Power rank the bears.
Yeah, I gotta go 1. Like just because The Office, it's black bear, right? That's what Jim said to Dwight. So I'm gonna go. It's black bear first.
They're cute. They're the
polar
cute
bear?
ones that live in trees. Polar bears will rip your face off. Like they're.
That's
cute.
what I like about them. That's what I like about them. Because Coca-Cola is like, hey, they're just cool. They're friendly. Like they're just sipping a Coke with penguins. It's like I think they'd eat the penguin, and probably they don't want Coke.
Yeah, no, I've heard like there's some sort of saying about polar bears that like if it's a black bear, you got a chance. If it's a grizzly bear,
like play dead on one of them. Yeah, one of them was like get big, play dead, and then it was like polar bear, you're dead. Yeah, because they're like they're gonna chase you. They're faster than you. They are going to eat you alive, and it's not going to be fun.
I believe that was polar bear.
Polar bears are cool though, man. Like I get it. I'd be angry too if you just lived on like the Antarctic. Like that sucks. I don't want to be in Antarctica. Like, I'd be pissed too. Anybody that came like, I'm gonna eat you. I'm so mad I'm living here. Unless you have a boat to take me somewhere else. Fuck you.
I need a sweater in case you haven't noticed.
Yeah. You need a sweater?
I need a sweater. I'm cold. You're over here talking about how cute I am. I'm cold.
I don't need another soda. Cold. Quit bringing me sodas.
That's why they're in a bad mood.
I don't want a scarf either, Coke.
This is patronizing and de-bearizing.
So we go black bear, polar bear. Like what's after those? Brown bears, I know, are ones.
I think they're nice. Grizzly
brown
bears
look pretty cool.
Grizzly bears are
those
scary.
grizzly bears?
Grizzly bears are the ones that have like the drool foam hanging out of their mouth. While
are those the salmon ones?
Legs. Huh?
Those are the salmon catchers, right?
Yeah.
Those are definitely 3. Is there a difference between a grizzly and a brown bear? Or is a grizzly bear just another name for a brown bear?
I'm actually not
like
sure.
Puma and cougar?
No, I don't think there is. So there's mountain lions up here, and I think it's the same thing as a
No, the Puma, cougar, and mountain lion, all the exact same animal.
I
Like
think
just
they're the same animal.
they just call them that in different regions, but like they call them mountain lions because there's mountains. But then like I think puma is like the foreign way that people call them that. I don't know. I'm just saying that because I know pumas are Italian.
Well, I know here in the residential area in Colorado, they tell you to look out for them because they are aggressive.
Have you seen any?
So I have not seen a mountain lion, thank God. But when we first moved in to the other place, we had a neighbor that I think meant well, but was like, "So did you see the mountain lion eating the carcass down at the end of the cul-de-sac the other day?" And we're like, "No, we didn't, but thanks."
You're freaking us out, man.
Yeah, jeez, man, come on. No, well, I don't know who to believe. I've heard two different things, but I've heard from more than one person that they're aggressive and they'll attack you. So
Yeah, I would just
that
stay
really
away
makes you
from
want to
them.
go hiking.
Right. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Like, do you carry anything with you when you go hiking?
Yeah, like so they tell you like bears. So the bears will attack you too if they feel
Bear
threatened,
mace?
but if you make noise and they hear you, they'll run. So,
Okay.
but they tell you if you're deep in the forest to make noise, carry a bell.
But do you like when you're running, so you carry like a bell with you then?
No, I mean, I don't really run outside a whole lot. And when I hike, I stay on trails that are usually populated with other people. I'm not too worried about it. But if I were, I mean, I've got a bell in my car in my hiking kit to take.
Okay.
There's no telling, when
Dude,
I'm going to be
whistle. What's a whistle? What
you
about a
can use
whistle?
that
Come on.
too. Whatever makes noise.
Again, whistle's authoritarian figure 100% of the time. Whether or not you are, people believe it.
Listen, Bear, this is my neighborhood now.
It's like, whoa. I will get out of here, lady. I am so sorry. I did not understand that this was something official going on.
Exactly. No, they tell you, hiking guides will tell you to take noisemakers.
Just like you should take like the weird, like those like twisty ones that people have for like New Year's Eve where it goes like just get like silly ones.
So you could climb. I mean, you could climb. You'd have something to throw around at the top of a mountain, right? You climb a mountain. I want to climb a mountain bad.
Go hiking in squeaky clown shoes.
That would suck after about half a mile.
You'd be safe. So what's better, being safe or annoying?
Being comfortable.
Comfortable is safe to me.
Oh my gosh. No, you have to have the right shoes. Like that's one of the fun things though about like when it's turning from like winter to spring is you can go up to some higher elevation hikes and there's still snow everywhere. And if you have waterproof boots on, like you can tromp through nature and grass and snow and it's just so much fun. You feel like a mountain person.
That is awesome.
It's so much fun.
Okay, do you want to do some weird segments? We do some segments on the podcast, and I got 3 of them if you're down to do that. If you got to go, I get you, but if you want to hang out. Okay.
Let's go.
So we got this first one we're going to do here is called What Would Jesus Do? And this came up in a situation where I was talking about I was at a bachelor party and I was talking about a situation I was in. My friend's like, I wonder what Jesus would have done in that spot. And I was like, that's a good idea. He's like, you should make that a podcast segment. So I did. And some people have stopped listening to us because they got upset about it. But I was like, hey, it's okay. It's okay. There's actually been a couple of times where they were like, honestly, people have been like, they've explained why they weren't okay with it. And I was like, I apologize, but like, this just might not be your thing. Like, that's kind of how we do it. I was like, I told people we're going to do this segment until people stop sending stuff, which you can submit your, what would Jesus do? You just throw them in a modern day situation, #PTGWWJD to @PassTheGravyPod on Twitter. And if you want to email them to us, you can email them answers@passthegravypod.com. But we prefer #PTGWWJD to @PassTheGravyPod. But yeah, just like people have gotten upset over it, and I actually have responded like, please don't listen to my podcast. Then like, just don't.
Just learn to laugh, guys.
Or
like,
there's a little skip button. You can skip until you're done with that, and then just go right back to what else we do. Like, I don't understand. Like, you don't have to like it. Not everybody's gonna like a lot of the stuff we do, but it's fine. But so this is the What Would Jesus Do segment, and our buddy Jingle Blake Wonder made us this nice little jingle for us.
Jesus, what would Jesus do? Jesus, what would Jesus do? Put him in a situation in a modern time. If you wrote this jingle, do you think he'd make it rhyme? So think about this crazy world in which we live today, and how would Jesus handle it in any given way?
This week's What Would Jesus Do comes from our good buddy, Josh Tree Caudle at Joshua Tree 713 on Twitter. And Josh says, what kind of wings would JC get? Like what flavor of wings? I don't know. Is he asking like what place would he get wings from, or like what kind of wings? I think we got to go both in that situation.
Why does I don't know, like boneless wings feel very holy to me. Feels like
Boneless
something
wings?
he would. Yeah, I don't know why.
Ah. I mean, I just think that JC is more of like a traditional wings kind of guy. Like he
Why?
doesn't need
Like, why
that
do you think?
newfangled technology or any of that. Like I don't need your newfangled boneless wings. I want to go with the old school wings. Is he a drums or a flats guy? I don't know. I have a lot of questions out of this one question.
I don't know. I think like Deuteronomy answers that question.
Yeah, like was it Deuteronomy like 8:12 or something
I
like
think
that?
it's
Just
the
go
one
look
with
it
the
up.
oxen. I don't
Yeah,
know.
with the oxen, and it also tells you what kind of wings he likes.
I'm pretty sure that it's somewhere in there.
Yeah, just look around there. I would say like if he's going flavors, like does Jason? He doesn't seem like he's a super hot, spicy wing kind of guy.
I don't think so. I
Well,
don't know.
Robert
No,
did say
I don't think
Jesus
so
was a
either.
spicy boy. Robert last week on our podcast called him a spicy boy. So maybe he is gonna like the hot sauce, like the hot wings. I don't know. I think maybe Jesus.
I think his sermonizing is spicy enough. Like I just think that he
Right.
gets it out that way. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
he lets it fly from the mountaintop or whatever it is. Like the
Yeah.
mountaintop, he lets it fly from there. So he doesn't need any more spiciness in his life.
Is he like a lemon pepper guy? You think? Maybe lemon
Maybe.
pepper.
I can see. Yeah, totally. I could see that.
JC probably gets down with some lemon pepper, but I bet he's like a mild buffalo, like a regular. He's just a plain regular, like mild, not super spicy. So like mild and maybe some lemon pepper just to get a little frisky. He's feeling
I wouldn't be
frisky, he's gonna go.
disappointed. No, that sounds about right. And I
He
wouldn't
could
be
throw in some teriyaki every now and then too if he's feeling just wacky. Like you never know.
Yeah. No, that sounds about right.
Teriyaki Tuesdays. That's what Jesus has.
I'd have wings with Jesus like in a heartbeat. That'd be great.
have-
He'd be great to talk to.
Do you have I guess you eat healthy. So like, do you like? What are your cheat days like?
Of singing.
Like what's your go-to? Like this is my cheat meal.
Like I really at this point, especially like just kind of go with what I'm in the mood for. Because it's like my one time a week to get it out of my system. Excuse me. But I love pizza. Like if I get to choose, I could probably have pizza from I love BJ's pizza, like stupid. But pizza pizza and salty stuff, like nachos, pretzels, like all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
we order food all the time and get it delivered to the house. So sometimes it gets nuts. And there's some restaurants in the Woodlands that have chicken fried steaks and oh my God. We live in the greatest area for like food delivery. It's so wonderful.
Dude, yeah. Worst for probably like heart attacks based on food delivery, but best for food delivery for sure.
Oh my gosh. We have local restaurants that like I guess are just in the Woodlands. Like I've never seen them anywhere else. And God, their food's so good. The Republic Grill and the Craft Grill. I'll shout them out because they're that good.
Okay.
But
check out those places.
Oh my gosh. They're both like just kind of like normal sort of bar food menu places, but everything is sort of Texas twisty. Like has queso or has, you know what I'm talking about? Dr. Pepper barbecue.
They just, we threw extra onions on it or whatever. Like, we got Jack Daniels in it because we can.
It's great. And
jalapenos for no reason.
But it's so good. Exactly. But they do it good. It's not like jalapenos for the sake of jalapenos. It's like, wow, this actually works. That's pretty amazing. Good for y'all.
Speaking of just like weird food combinations, I guess, or just like throwing random shit in food and then like wings to like circle back. I do my Hot Wheels races every day. That's what I've done to like people are like, Alex, what do you think you'd be doing at 31? And I was like, probably not racing Hot Wheels, but I'm doing that every day. And it's sponsored by Plucker's Wing Bar. So like they hooked me up with some food. And yesterday, like I was like, let's get a little weird with our wings. Like we normally go with like the same order. Like we'd get Dr. Pepper, spicy ranch, and the hot wings. And I was like, let's just go with 3 we've never had. And it was sriracha mango or sriracha peach. And I can't remember what the other pepper was, but it was like 2 spicy things with peach. And I was like,
that's
awesome.
going to be,
it sounded so weird, but like, it was so weird biting into it. Cause you're like, I am just having like, it's like, oh, it's spicy. Now it's not cause it's peachy, but now it's spicy again, but now I can taste the peach again. Like it was a crazy combo. Put some ranch on that. Like it was nuts.
That is Texas spicy. And that is Texas spicy when it goes like, and I think that's what HEB does. That's the reason I don't think it's that weird is they make all those sauces that are like raspberry chipotle. It's sweet.
Yeah.
And then it's spicy, but then it's sweet again.
Where it's just like you would never put those together, but somebody did. And you're like, that was a great idea. Yeah.
A Texan did. And it was fantastic.
Right. So just like I've never been like a sweet, spicy kind of guy, but like I am now, I guess.
I am too, man. That's why we brag about Texas, Alex.
Yeah, that's why
Stuff like
it
that.
makes sense. It's making
I know.
sense.
That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you.
So we think Jesus would go just mild, probably, and lemon peppers, maybe some teriyaki if he's getting.
I think he would be a teriyaki guy if you were feeling jazzy.
Yeah. So it's a good question, Josh. Thanks for sending that in. If you guys got any more, what would Jesus do? Hit us up, hashtag PTGWWJD to @PassTheGravyPod on Twitter. All right, our next segment is the Not Cool segment. Before we get into that, let me tell you guys about our good friends over at Southern Star Brewing Company. Liz, you don't drink. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Well, I just need your opinion because it is an election year, right? And it's very important to go out and vote and voice your opinion. And one of the most important decisions we have to make this year is whether or not you want the blue Bombshell Blonde can or the red Bombshell Blonde can. You can go to bombshell2020.com to place your vote. But which can are you leaning towards?
Oh, man.
As a non-drinker, just like looking at the aesthetics of it.
So those are my aesthetics. Yeah, like the pinup stuff. I love that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard, man. Red? I think red was like my initial
Red?
knee-jerk.
Okay. Red really, that's what like, I always joke, like I keep going back and forth. So I'm just going to open up a red one because you told me to. Basically.
They both look really good. But
they both
red
are.
was a knee-jerk. Yeah.
But they, so it's always been blue. They've always had a blue can, and they're just trying out the reds right now. But you can vote because it is the election year, and at the end of that, they're going to decide what they're going with permanently. But like, I don't know. I keep joking that like I look at the red one, and like right now, I'm team. I think I am again. I'm team red. I was team blue last week, but it's like every time I like look at the other one, I'm like, I don't know. That blue one's sexy. It's always been blue, but like, like okay, nope. Red is dope. The red just punches you in the face, and I like that because it's like, there's my beer. That's my beer. Like the blue, there's a lot of blue cans. I think red cans on beer is just not as common as blue. So it's like, I don't know. I'm team red right
Light
now.
has blue, right?
Hey, there's silver. They may have blue, like they may have blue mountains on it.
Well, you don't need any more blue. Screw Coors Light.
Yeah.
Red.
Yeah, we're
red.
Southern Star. Team Southern Star. But Southern Star, Bombshell Blonde 2020.com. You can go place your vote because that's very important right now, guys. They have the tap room is open. I don't know if they're able to get to the 50%. I know they can do 25% right now. Go look at their Facebook page and SouthernStarBrewingCompany.com for all of the times and dates. They have beer to go still available because I know everything's not 100% open. If you want to support local, like Southern Star, you can go visit them up at 3525 North Fraser Street in Conroe. They got beer to go. You can pick up from noon to 6 on Thursdays, Fridays and Saturdays from noon to 7 p.m., and Sundays from noon to 6 again. Noon to 6 Sundays, Fridays and Saturdays, noon to 7, and Sundays, noon to 6 p.m. And I know that Fridays and Saturdays, when they're open for beer to go, the outdoor bar is open, and they're doing just one-serve cups. They're being very good about social distancing, one person at the bar at a time. They're doing great about all that stuff. Southern Star Brewing Company, they're going to take care of you. Go get some of the new Sunday brunch. It's like a beer that tastes like a mimosa. It's awesome. It's awesome. One of my favorites. But the Strawberry Bombshell Blonde, guys, if you haven't got that, that's my favorite. You know it. Go check it out. And Southern Star Brewing Company, the best beer in the entire world, the official beer sponsor of Pass the Gravy podcast. This is also brought to you by Little M Air Fresheners, my favorite air fresheners in the entire world. If you got a smelly car or home that has you down right now, Little M's they don't only have the best air fresheners that look good, they smell great too. They're made from paper scented with essential oils, and those air fresheners are going to freshen up any space you have. They have an awesome variety of unique scents and designs, and if you spend $10 or more, you're going to get free shipping on your order, which is like you get 5 air fresheners, 5 of the best air fresheners in the world. Then you're going to get free shipping. Why wouldn't you do this? Go to littlemshop.com, littlemshop.com for the best air fresheners in the world. A little life hack that I like to use with my air freshener is you like when you have the liner in your trash can, you throw an air freshener between that, like between the plastic of the trash can, because sometimes you have like smelly trash. Like if I have crawfish delivered and I eat crawfish, then the next day it stinks. So I'm taking the trash out, and there's always a little M air freshener at the bottom in between the bag and the real can. So it's like, I got a nice little whiff of fresh while I'm taking this stinky trash out. And it kind of helps the trash can from just smelling like shit the whole time. Because sometimes, like that smell lingers in those trash cans. If it drips a little bit with a little air freshener in there, you won't even notice it. I know that I think it was Casey said she got some, put it in her diaper genie to just kind of help it smell better. And she said that helps. And then obviously like in your office, your car, it's going to make anything smell better. I think we were watching the SpaceX launch before we started recording. I'm pretty sure I saw a little air freshener hanging in the rear view mirror of that. I'm sure they have rear view mirrors in space shuttles, right? But Little M Air Fresheners Little M Air Fresheners, the best air fresheners in the world. LittleMShop.com, LittleEMShop.com, and the official air freshener sponsor of Pass the Gravy podcast. All right, this is the not cool segment we're going to do here, Liz. Now, in the beginning of my podcast, when I first started it, like about 6 years ago, I feel like my friend Curtis and I struggled to fill an hour, and our goal was like, let's get to an hour every show. So we tried to come up with segments to get us there, and one of the ways we thought we could do it is just by venting about stuff that made us mad that week. Which I was like, we bitch about stuff already. Why don't we just make it a segment where we can like get all that anger out? So just I'll go first if you want, and I will just like I'll give my thing. Just think of something like you could stub your toe and use that as you're not cool, because that's not cool. But somebody could also like stab you, which is really not cool. You know, like it's varying degrees of not cool. But
there's a spectrum.
Yeah, exactly. So just start brainstorming on that. This is our not cool segment.
Not cool, man. Dude, that's not cool.
Not cool. Not cool.
Dude, that's not cool. Not cool, man. Dude, that's not cool.
Not cool. Not cool.
Dude, that's not cool. That's not cool. That's not cool.
My not cool is this is a really stupid not cool, and it's like 100% on me. But yesterday I was at the liquor store. I had to stock up on some Southern Star. I was running a little low on my red bombies that I wanted to be able to show you the red and the blue. I didn't have any more red left, so I had to go get some more bombies. But I was leaving the liquor store, and I was putting stuff in my trunk, and just, you know, sometimes I just like, I'll spit when I'm outside. You know, I just feel like I need to spit. I don't know. But I leaned over to spit, and I didn't realize I was still wearing a mask that I wore into the store. And so I spit on the mask and the inside of the mask, and it just got all over me, and I felt like an idiot. Like, luckily, I don't think anybody saw it. I can't know for sure.
I would have
like,
laughed so hard if I were there, dude. I'm sorry.
It was so dumb. No, you should have, because I felt like an idiot where you're just like, oh, no. Like, immediately. I was like, oh, no. Like, why is it so wet on my, and like I got the beard, so then it's in the beard, and it was dumb. It was really stupid, and that was not cool. Like,
What did we learn?
Don't spit when you have a mask.
That's what I say to my husband when he does stuff like that. He gets mad.
It was bad. It was bad. Like, it was just like one of those real, like, have you ever like you get in the shower and you forget to take your socks off, and you're like, what the hell? Like, how did I not know I had socks on? Like just like little things like that.
I haven't done that particular thing, but I've done things, not this week. Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt your rant. I would be mad.
No, that was just mine. That was it. Like, it was really just like I spit into my mask because I forgot I had a mask on, which is like hey, now I'm at the level where I'm already forgetting I'm wearing a mask. So see, it's not so bad.
Right? Yeah, and I'm trying to think.
Well,
you know what? Like when I come up here, I try to be zen. Like that's like the whole point of coming up here. So I try to get like my mind space correct. But an elk was blocking the freeway the other day. That sucked.
And you can't really do anything because those are big.
No, because it's an elk. And it's not going to move until, like, it was just standing there, and you can't. I mean, you obviously can't kill it. You can't. You know, it's not going to listen to you. You had to wait for animal control or whoever came out there to move it off the road. But
my aunt and uncle have a ranch in Jonesboro, which is like near Waco. And they have elk on the ranch, and like I don't hunt, but like my family hunts, and my uncle and my cousin were hunting one morning, and they shot an elk, and they thought that the elk, like they thought they missed it, and then they saw him come back, so they shot him. They're like, we got him this time. And then they realized that they really shot the first elk and didn't realize that they killed it, like it died later on. And then like, so they had two just big ass fucking elks, and they're like, look, like we don't like they were just delegating like elk meat to all of us in the family, because they're like, we have so much fucking meat from these giant, like you have to get like you have to like bring like a crane, not a crane, but you have to like tow those things away because they're so big. You can't just like load it up. Like those are hard to pick up. They're not small animals. Like I know elk look like they're like deer from afar when you see them on TV, but like in real life,
they're big.
They're ginormous.
Yeah, we've got a mount here that here at the Colorado place. We call him Ernie the elk, but it's a mount on the wall, and it's enormous. David got him a couple of years ago. So
what kind of? Do you have a bunch of trophies?
No, my husband does in his office. He's got a couple of mounts, and we've got one here. But I mean, he really just. That's something that people don't understand. I think that don't live in Texas or in places where hunting is big, that it sounds awful like you're killing Bambi's mom. Bambi's mom would starve without
Right.
population control. It would be far worse. So,
I had talked to you before we started recording. Like, I used to work a hunting and fishing show on the weekends. It was called the Doug Pike Show on Sports Talk 790. It's still on there. You can listen to it on the weekends. But like, I was not like a diehard hunter or fisher, but like I learned so much about like why we need hunting and all this. 'Cause like the deers, like their teeth wear away, and then eventually they'll starve to death if like the population gets too out of control. Then like there's not gonna be enough food for them. Like there's a lot of like factors that people don't look at when they're like, hunting's bad, you should never do it. And it's like, I personally don't do it. I don't have a problem with people doing it. I just can't, like, I've tried it and just like I can't look down the scope at a cute little deer and like I can't do it. I'm a pussy when it comes to that. And it's like there's just people that are cut out for it and I'm not. And I can't clean a deer. Like I don't want any of that.
Oh no, me either. I'm 100%
I'll eat it
on board.
all day.
I can't. I have no desire to go out and hunt. I have no desire to. I am really, really glad that there are people in the world that do.
Yeah.
because
yeah.
I mean
I'm more of a gatherer
everybody.
instead of a hunter.
Me too. No, I tell my husband all the time, like, do you really have to do that? And yeah, they do. There's a reason why licenses are given out and all that kind of stuff. They track it. They
have limits. They have limits too, so you don't get too out of control.
Exactly. I don't understand what the thrill is of it either, but I understand it.
I get the thrill of it.
I'm glad my husband can drag something home if the zombie apocalypse comes rolling through here anytime soon. You know what I mean?
See, Emma's screwed because I'm just like, we're going to eat berries.
Hunter and gatherer. You can come to our house, Alex. Cool.
Yeah, I'm just going to go there. So, yeah, that's a pretty good not cool though. An elk in the road is and like how long did it block it for a while?
Like they diverted traffic around it, but I noticed there was a backup
was
for quite a while.
There?
It's like, dude, move. Like somebody go and you can't, they're aggressive. Like they're not going to charge you or anything, but if you mess with them, they're going to defend their space.
And they got antlers that'll fuck you up.
Their antlers are scary. They are big and they make these little noises. It's like this little, they make the most, their noise is just stupid sounding. It's funny. For such a big animal, they sound like a weak little piece of, it's just funny.
So that's a good not cool. That was our not cool segment. That's as simple as that. And then going back to mine real fast. Yeah, get out of the road, elk. Chill the fuck out. Just be cool, man. Go hang out in elk places. So yeah, just going back to mine not cool about masks is another thing that probably would have helped it is if I didn't have the little surgical mask that I used. Is if I had my Pass the Gravy Pass the Gravy face cover that we are now selling at PassTheGravyMerch.com. Go and fight the Rona the PTG way with our Pass the Gravy face covers, PassTheGravyMerch.com. That was an extra little ad. I just wanted to throw in there because I forgot that I mentioned face masks, but we're trying to move those. They're going fast, so go get them before.
I need to get one of those.
I'll send you one.
Well, I was walking around like I'm up here where everybody's like freaking out if you don't cover your face, so.
But you're kind of out in the open too. You don't need to.
Well, but I'm having to tie a scarf around my face, which that's something this week that sucked. I need a mask from.
I'm just trying to abide. I don't know how much they help or hurt, but it's like.
Me too. No, me too. That's why I wrap it around. I don't know how much it helps or hurts, but if you're just trying to make some money and you want me to wear it, I'll wear it.
I was listening to Bill Burr this week, and he was talking about like how in China, like. He was like, I went over there to do a gig or whatever. And he was like, and then like, I just saw random people wearing masks. And I was like, what's going around? And they said, nothing really right now. And he was just like, sometimes people over there, just if you have a cold, you wear a face mask because you don't want to get other people sick. He's like, that's the most fucking considerate thing ever. But like, oh, hey, I might be sick. I don't want to get you sick. Let me wear this mask out. And I was like, that is. Like,
I love
that's
him.
really all the anti-mask people. It's like, that's a great way to look at it. Like, but what if you don't kill these people? Maybe. Just maybe.
He is. I heard a while, it was somebody that was responding to somebody who is upset about how upset everybody is these days. And it really is true. They were saying the comedians are going to save us. They really are. I love Bill Burr. I think I like him.
He's my favorite right now.
Me too. But I think people like him and they like Chappelle because they're so authentic. That's why people
don't really
like
care.
Eminem back in the day. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
but they just don't like, they don't care about like you being upset. And it's like, it takes a lot of people where like I love Jimmy Fallon, but then they like called him out on that blackface thing again that they've already called him out on. And it was like I understand he felt the need, he needed to go apologize. He's on NBC, but it's like, dude, you shouldn't have to apologize for something that we obviously know that you wish, like now looking back at it, it's terrible. It wasn't like, it probably wasn't okay then, but like, if you think that like Jimmy Fallon wrote that all by himself, then put together the whole thing, then did all that, like there was a whole crew that went into it. And it's like, it was a different time. Like as bad as it sounds, like I know that like, well, back in then, like this wasn't okay. It's still not okay. It's like, but it was like, I watch The Office religiously, but it's like a lot, you couldn't put that on TV now. You couldn't put half of that stuff on TV.
Have you seen some of Bill Burr's stand-up from a decade ago?
Like his like first cup when he had hair?
Hysterical. It is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
And he was right about all of it.
You could never say that today.
But he was right about so much stuff.
No, I feel you, dude. I don't. Cancel culture's bad. That needs to stop. Everybody makes mistakes.
We're trying to cancel culture. That's what we're trying.
Yeah, that everybody makes mistakes, and let's try to just be nicer to each other. Come on, man.
Just like you can be offended about everything, but just know that I'm happier than you because I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I did something to offend you, like I guess I'm sorry, but I don't care. I didn't do it to be mean. I didn't do it to be ugly. I don't do anything out of.
I don't do it with hate in my heart. Yeah.
I don't have any hate in my heart. Let's hug.
Oh, that was a dumb joke. It was a throwaway joke. I didn't mean it. Like you took it. Like I wasn't thinking that much into it. But whatever. So that was we're still on the not cool. That's just me riffing about not cool. But this is our final segment we can do. And this is my favorite segment we get to do every single week. It's the answer segment. Now, when I was in third grade back at Farr Elementary in Lawrenceville, Georgia, I was in Miss Winter's class, and she told us, class, there's no such thing as a stupid question. And I remember my hand shot right up. I didn't know exactly. I don't remember what I asked, but I remember being like, cool, because I thought this sounded dumb. I asked my question, and everybody laughed. And I was like, what, guy? Like, I was upset. I was like I mean, I got over it fast, but I was like, what, guy? Like, she just told us there's no such thing. But okay. And so I was like, man, one day when you're in charge, I'm going to make sure that we don't laugh at people that ask stupid questions. And like, no questions is stupid questions. So I was like, okay. And I never got put in charge, but I did start this, which sort of makes me like, I put myself in charge because I started the podcast so nobody could tell me I couldn't. And I was like, hey, send us your questions. If it's a high thought you have, if, you're drunk and you come up with this, if you see it on the internet and you're like, I wonder what the guys at Pass the Gravy would have to say, hit us up, #PTG Answers at Pass the Gravy Pod on Twitter. And I'm at Alex J. Middleton if you want to tweet me those as well, but use the #PTG Answers. You can also email them to us, answers@passthegravypod.com. But just know we look at Twitter first, so that's where we prefer you to send them. #PTG Answers to @PassTheGravyPod. This is the Answers segment.
Well, if you just answer the question, why don't you just answer the question? Be honest, no big deal. Yeah, answer the question.
Don't change the subject, just answer the open question.
Any questions?
Let's get to our first answers question. This is from our buddy David Ruiz. He's up for our Rookie of the Year award at the end of the year at David_Ruiz90 on Twitter. And David asks us, if you get scared half to death twice, do you die? Oh, so like when people are like, hey, you scared me half to death there. Like if that happens twice, you're dead then, I guess. I mean, it seems like that would make sense, right?
It depends, I suppose, on how your logic is ordered. I suppose it depends on how you. I can make both sense of that both ways, but yeah, that's deep, man.
Yeah, I would say yes. Yeah, you definitely die. You would definitely you'd have to. And if you die in a dream, you die because I watched the Freddy Krueger once.
I think if we're playing by like the triple dog dare rules, then yeah, you have to die.
Mm-hmm.
I think
that's just science right there.
I think if we're going from the just off the cuff comment rules that are not actually meant to be quantified rules, then no.
I'm just going to double down on yes. I think it's got to be yes. How did he die? He was scared half to death. He already was scared half to death a couple years ago.
I got into an argument with my brother about this one time, and he was just like, you're always saying this is half this or half that. And I'm just like, it's a figure of speech. Like some people are so quantitative about things. I'm just like, I don't mean half. You've been thinking I meant half the whole time?
I'm bad about like I'll say a couple when I mean like 10 sometimes,
That's
and
what
it's
I'm
like
saying.
people get like that's not that much. A couple means 2 or 3 max. I'm like, okay,
No, it
I'm
doesn't.
sorry, I didn't
You
tell you
don't
that there.
speak Elizabeth. You don't speak to Alex. You don't. I'm gonna
Yeah,
need you to learn how to be around me.
I was like, okay, I don't know. I felt like it was easier than saying 13.
Yeah. I don't know. I've just learned from getting into fights with my husband, my family, just people around me that I associate with for long periods of times, that little things like just that you don't even recognize, like other people here are totally different. It's weird.
Fun one that you can try out that I was trying to get going is like using a baker's dozen to just mean anything with the number 13. So like, oh, there was a pile up on the freeway and a baker's dozen fatalities, and you're like, wait, what? It's like
That's
instead
pretty
of saying,
awesome, actually, because it requires people to do work and go figure out what that is.
but like you can't like they're like you can't use baker's dozen for anything besides like cooking, and I was like, yeah, but we should use
Says
it for other
who?
things. I don't know, but like, what number is James Harden? He's a baker's dozen. Number baker's dozen.
I mean, like I'm pretty sure that yeet doesn't have an actual meaning. That didn't have an actual meaning, right?
I don't believe
Like
so.
you can assign any meaning to it that you want. A baker's dozen can mean anything that you want.
A baker's dozen could mean yeet.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or I could just make a noise and say that it means whatever. Like yeet. Somebody was just like yeet. And was like, this means this. So I got a new word now. A baker's dozen can be whatever you want it to be.
If you want new words, work on darling like a marlin. Whenever something's cool, be like, man, that is darling like a marlin.
I mean,
I've been trying to make it catch on. It's not, but we're slowly working on it. I was like, because that would be an awesome sports call. I was like, you watch a homer like, and that was darling like a marlin. Like that sounds like some like Southern sports guy would say calling a baseball game.
that sounds like Brockmire.
Yeah, I've never finished Brockmire, but like I watched the first season. It's so fucking good. So I don't know why I never went back.
It's good.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's Hank Azaria from The Simpsons and like every other thing, but like he's a minor league baseball play-by-play guy, and it's hilarious. But it's back like when he's drinking.
He's a drunk whose life is falling apart, and he's just like this complete train wreck, like in every single episode. And it's so dark, but it's so funny.
It's a great show. It's a great show. Maybe I'll get back to that after we finish with this today. But yeah, if I ever like for some reason if anybody's ever like, Alex, will you call this baseball game? And I see a home run, I swear, like there's no other call I'm gonna do besides that was darling like a marlin.
I know, but that's how you stand out. I love it.
Gotta
That's
make it a
perfect.
thing. You gotta make it a thing. We tried to make our Christmas sweater this year just was like a marlin with a Santa hat and said darling like a marlin on it, and like 5 people bought them. So like didn't really do well. It's not catching on as fast as I'd like it. I've been trying for like 2 years now, but hey, it's slowly starting.
You need to get Tipsy Elves as like a sponsor, like
Dude,
the crazy.
I love Tipsy Elves.
Aren't they fun? Yeah.
Sliding those DMs.
Sliding those DMs. They make great sweaters.
They do. And then they also have awesome shorts, and I think I have like 2 or 3 bathing suits from them. They're like my go-to shorts people. Them and Bird Dogs. No free ads, so we'll cut that. Robert, cut that out. Cut those brands out, Robert. Just put beeps. All right, let's move to our next question. It's from our buddy Brandon Whitehead at Brando Whitehead on Twitter, and he says, "Snoring, just bragging about being asleep." I gotta say yes, a little bit.
I mean,
It's like I'm asleep so much that I am being loud.
but I'm not impressed.
Right. Well, that's what, like, I'm not impressed by braggers anyways.
That's true. No, I'm not impressed by. I take it back. I have heard some freight train snoring before. That's
Dude,
so
yeah.
awful that it is impressive. It's like, how can you not wake yourself up?
My
That's
uncle, I mean, I guess he still has sleep apnea, but when I was a kid, like before, like I knew about sleep apnea, like when he would come into town, we had bunk beds, and if my grandparents were in town, they would stay in the guest room and he would stay in the bottom bunk and I would have to go up to the top bunk. And like, he just would like stop breathing in the middle. Like he'd be, oh my God, did you stop breathing? I was scared the first night, just like, is he dead? Why is he not breathing? Why is he not like, and it was like, okay, no, he's back. And it was like, just like that is terrifying to think about. Like you're just sleeping and sometimes you just stop breathing. Like you just fuck air.
I hate to joke about sleep apnea because it can kill people. But no, my father, I remember being like a little kid or a teenager in my house growing up, and my dad falling asleep on the couch and just being like, Man, I can't, Mom. I'm impressed that you are able to like fall asleep next to that every night. That's amazing.
Yeah, I guess you just gotta get like I guess some people just get numb to it over a period of time. Like I know
I
people who
guess.
like my friend's wife will just go sleep on the couch sometimes or kick him out to the couch when she's like, all right, you're bad today.
My mother
because,
does that too. Yeah.
because I don't think I'm a regular snorer. I know I talk in my sleep, Emma tells me, but like Emma says like if I get drunk that I'm a snorer. I'm a snorer when
Yeah.
I've been drinking, which makes sense.
So
I don't understand why it makes sense, but it seems like it should make sense because I'm drunk.
well, an answer to the question is snoring bragging about being asleep. No, I don't think that.
You don't
I
think
think
so?
I think that's
It's a little bit
like a deep thought, but I don't know. Maybe I need to pry through it a little further.
I'm
not
gonna have
impressed.
to disagree. I'm just gonna disagree. I'm not saying I'm impressed, but I'm not impressed if you're like, oh, I did this. Like I wouldn't be impressed by you bragging anyways. So then like that's like I'm not impressed by your snoring. But like you did say, like sometimes you can be impressed by like
That's
that was
true.
amazing. Like you're playing a song but snoring.
That's true. Well, I'm amazed when when you can sound like I can hear you 2 miles away and you haven't woken yourself up. That's amazing.
Yeah, when you're like 6 rooms at weddings and stuff. Like I've had a couple times where you go to a wedding and like a bunch of people are within the same like area. We're all staying in the same house, and you're like, who the fuck was snoring last night?
Is that? I know. How did you not wake yourself up? You woke me up.
Yeah,
Amazing.
everybody else
I
is like,
agree. Okay.
I was wide awake. I could tell. But
I'm
I think
with you. Okay.
like, do you snore, or do you know if
No.
you snore?
No.
See, I feel like when I do snore, I'm just more of a like a just like
So
loud
my
breather as opposed to
obligatory
a.
I'm sorry.
No, you go.
My obligatory fitness thing that I'm required to say is technically it's not funny because it's about neck circumference and sleep apnea and you can choke and it's got, stuff to do with diabetes and obesity and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, snoring can be impressive.
So it
When it
can be,
doesn't
but
wake you up.
it's a little bit I think I like to think that this is kind of bragging about being asleep.
Yeah.
Not in the best way.
Sometimes it's just, I don't know. Yeah.
Because it's
impressive.
basically like you're telling the world like, hey, I'm sleeping.
I'm asleep.
I'm asleep.
I'm in here.
You might as well just say that.
Yeah. I can feel that.
That's a good question, Brandon. I like that one. Our next one comes from Stephanie E. Bow Bow. Day Bow Bow is what we call her. Stephaniezy on Twitter. That's Stephanie with 5 E's before the ZY. And Stephanie asks us, do ghosts get scared watching scary movies too?
I think ghosts have feelings. Why else would they want to scare you? And like, why else would they hang around in places to like haunt people? Because they have feelings and they're sad or angry or something.
What if like, because part of me thinks like if ghosts, like I don't really know if I believe in ghosts, but like if there are ghosts, like what if like you just get stuck in like some sort of purgatory because like I don't know, you did something, but then they just get bored and then they're like, I'm gonna go haunt this guy. Like I don't know, like what if you couldn't like leave a house, like you just stuck in this house forever and it's like, well, this bitch moved in, like let me fuck with her. Like, oh, I'm moving the counter. Oh, let me move this chair over here. Like, what if we put the spatula in the kitchen, the kitchen in the living room on the coffee table? Like, I don't know, let's do it. Like, I just assume it's like the brothers from Casper, like just those guys.
I would do that if I were a ghost.
So, 100%, which is why I'm like, I think that could be the case.
Yeah, I think ghosts enjoy scary movies. They got to get bored after a while.
But do they get scared during them?
No.
Because you're a ghost, like you've already seen death. So like, are you scared?
It depends on like what the other world looks like. Like, is it all Beetlejuicy with like run over people, like waiting?
But if you're a ghost, I don't think you're in those other worlds, are you? Because the ghost, like, isn't it supposed to be like purgatory? Like you're stuck here because you have
The Exorcist is scary, dude. That's a scary movie.
But like, if I've already died, do I still get scared of it? Like, if you die, do you have any fear?
I don't know.
Which is like a question like there's no way we'll ever know the answer to, obviously.
This is getting like really existential.
That's what I love about this segment. You're just like, well, that was a dumb question, but now we're talking about, all right, well, man.
Now we're talking about God and Satan and like.
I feel like I'm stoned half the time doing this segment just because like you get to those like random like high conversations. You're like, what if like do the stars look at us?
I was just about to ask you, like, people are smoking something while they're sending me these questions.
But hey, a lot of good stuff has come out of drugs, so who knows?
I won't argue with that. I grew up listening.
The Beatles, ever heard of them?
Everybody I grew up listening to has died of heroin overdoses. So unfortunately.
I would like that's just like honestly, I don't know if you get like if you've seen death, are you just like never afraid of anything ever again? Like you're like, I'm gonna go scare people because I know I can scare them and I'm not scared.
I
It's
mean,
still a creepy old house if you're in a haunted house, you know, like you're still in a creepy house. You got to be cool living there. You're probably over it.
I would
So then,
watch
like,
The Exorcist if I were a ghost just because I'm bored, but I don't know if I'd be scared. I guess it depends on like if ghosts are good or bad and if there's like hell or heaven.
yeah,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
another
I
one.
mean,
Yeah.
so
Because
unless
like
those
if there's a
questions are
hell or a
answered,
heaven or like a top and bottom, whatever you want to like, whatever you're into, guys. Like I always thought like ghosts were kind of like a purgatory where it's like you weren't good enough to get into one, you might not have been bad enough to get in
that's
the other.
true.
But like in every movie, like they have unfinished business, right? Like that's what
Yeah.
they gotta do before they can decide. So then,
Well, how
like,
scary is purgatory? Like, doesn't like Dante's Inferno talk about that? We could discern some information from that.
I don't remember Dante's Inferno. I
I don't
think
either. I just remember that it talks
I-
about that.
I was like, I think I cheated on that one.
It talks about the different, like it was medieval. It talks about the different levels of hell. Like there's this level and this type of sinner goes to this level and this type of
There's,
sinner
like, the
is
Hitler
here.
level.
Well, yeah, no, for real.
That's
like,
definitely like the bottom one for sure.
it's medieval literature. It was written by Dante Alighieri, I believe, but it's medieval literature. Yeah.
No, I know what it is. I've just never like. I remember in school we read it one time and I did not do it. I just cheated.
That's what it's
So-
about. And I think it talks about purgatory. So I don't know. I like at this point, I need to reread that book. It's probably got some stuff to say.
Will you read it and then just give me a brief synopsis of it so I can pretend I read it?
I remember trying to read it in high school and being like, you can tell this was written in like medieval Italian. It does not
Dude.
translate into English at all.
I do that when I try and read. Like I'm not a great book reader, but like there's times where like I've read stuff and it's like, oh, well, you should read this. It's great. Like you'll understand this better. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that. And if it's like an older book, I'm like, I had too many big words. I got like through the first page and it was like,
Well, like
this isn't my
Beowulf.
thing.
I've tried to read Beowulf before, which is an Old English poem, but it
Uh-huh.
was written in Old English, which is like a completely different language that's
Like
hundreds of years
Shakespeare.
old.
I don't get Shakespeare.
Because
just-
it doesn't translate.
Yeah.
It doesn't
It's
translate.
like, what the fuck is it? This is weird. I get it. It's awesome. People love it. Like, he's a big deal for a reason.
Well, back in the day, like that was theater. That was the movies. Those were the movie stars. Like he was a big deal back in the day, but
Right.
it doesn't translate. You know what I mean?
And I love the Beatles. I really like the Beatles, but I do understand the people that I don't ever think the Beatles are overrated. I get obsessed when people say that, but I understand people that are like, I just don't really get the Beatles. Where it's
Me too.
like, yeah, because like things have changed. Now they were not like synthesizers like there are now. Like they were like, we need 70,000 didgeridoos in the background of this song we're gonna do because John did an acid trip and wants to do this. Like
Because Jared Leto won't stop layering things.
oh yeah, yeah. But it's like the Beatles are awesome because of what they did. But it was like that was like at the time that was groundbreaking. Like nobody had ever heard like that
You know
kinda,
what?
like,
But
stuff. And now like we're so like it's so like done that we're like, well, the Beatles, like that sounds like a brand new band. Like they just sounded like what were they playing on, like recorders and xylophones? Like what's going on?
that kind of attitude kind of irritates me a little bit. Like, because I'm with you. I'm not a huge Beatles fan, but I understand like why they're so important and what they did when they did it. You know,
See,
it's like
I am a Beatles fan, but like, no, I get like that's something like with Metallica. Like, I'm not a big Metallica fan. I appreciate everything Metallica has done. I understand why they fucking are huge. Like, props to them. And that's not my style. Tool, same way. And everybody hates on me for hating on Tool, but I think Tool plays 9-hour songs and I'm sick of it.
if you didn't grow up with it, I'm learning. So I grew up with it, and I'm absolutely like a Tool cult person. I can't help
Yeah.
it. Like none of us can help it. That's the problem. We can't help it. It
No,
happened
and, like-
to us when we were children.
Yeah. Well, I don't like on the Rod Ryan show. Like, not everybody that listens to listens to the Rod Ryan show, but a couple. Like it was last year. Was it Fear Inoculum? Is what they came out with, and we
I remember
premiered
when
it.
you did that, and I was telling my husband about it because I turned my husband on to Tool. He's a huge Tool fanatic now, and I told him what you said. I was just like, Alex was like, "Why are we?" I was like, it was the funniest. I was not mad at you. I was like, I bet that's how people think about Tool.
Well, and it's one of those things where it's like it's art, like Radiohead. Like you wouldn't get it, dude. Like you don't understand it, bro.
They're right.
I don't have to understand it. I don't have to understand it. I can just say I don't like it. Like you're allowed to like it. Like they're in the Radio Hall of Fame or the Hall of Fame. So like whatever. Like they're obviously better than I think they are. It's just not my thing. But like I was like with the Tool thing, we played it and it was like a 9-minute song that they came into words about 6.5 minutes into, and I feel like he said like 6 sentences worth of words the entire song, and I was like, I just didn't get it. Rod's like, well, why? I was like, I just like words with my songs. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I mean, that's cool. Like, cool for them. They're great musicians. Yeah. I just like words. And people, how dare you, blah, blah, blah. What the fuck's wrong with you? And I was like, it's just not my thing, man. Like, you're allowed to like it, and I'm allowed to tell you that I like words in my songs. So I'm sorry. Like,
you know what I've
learned? For a radio, like 9 minutes of just instrumental doesn't really do anything for me.
Of course not. And like, and like for the explanation of that what you described about the Beatles, you're totally right about that. And that's the same thing with Tool. Uh-huh. What they did when they did it to this day has never been done again. Nobody before or since sounds like that. And if you are a fan, you grew up in an era when I remember when I got hooked on them as a kid. The big bands that were going around were Pantera, Metallica was big. Like if you were into the rock scene, right. You know, grunge was becoming big. Like all that stuff was big. And Tool, nothing. Enema came out and we were like, what in the world is this? And everybody was just hooked. So if you got hooked back then, you've hung in there for this long because it hooked you that bad. Like it hooked you that deep. That.
Yeah. But like ever since then, I've just kind of made it a bit to just shit on Tool whenever like we bring them up, and it's really funny because
it'll make people mad. For
the same people have to email me every single time, and I'm like, you guys know I'm doing this right now just to make you mad. Like I don't even care.
I know I'm the same way. See, I just laugh at everything. I'm with you. I don't understand why.
I like pushing buttons though, and
me
it's
too.
Like to me, I'm like,
okay,
like all right,
laugh. It's funny.
Like when the space launch happened, I tweeted out because I was like shitting on the uniforms. We shit on the uniforms on Wednesday, but I was like, Buzz Aldrin would be rolling over in his grave. And people were like, he's not dead. And I was like, I know he's not dead. I'm going to say it to see how many people get mad. And like a bunch of people got mad and it was funny. And I was like, you guys know I'm just trolling, but okay.
I think it's funny too, dude. No, I think it's funny. People get too riled up. I used to, and then I realized like how bad it looks and how I just realized that like the stuff I was getting worked up about were opinions at the end of the day. Like they're
I'm bad about that too.
They're deeply held, and it doesn't mean you're wrong and you should stand up for what you believe. That's not it. It's just they're
you're wrong if you don't agree with me though. That's just a fact. You're wrong if you don't agree with me, you're wrong. But like that's just everybody knows that.
I guess apparently that's what's going on these days, right?
I don't even know how we got onto that, honestly.
I don't know either.
Our question was over ghosts being, I guess, yeah. We were like hell, purgatory, whatever.
Then we started talking about Tool and medieval literature.
Yeah. Liz was like messaging me before we recorded. She's like, well, what are we talking about? I was like, well, this, and this are what we're planning on, but it's very possible we're just going to go on tangents about anything else.
Oh,
so
man.
Definitely what we've done now.
I can do music all day.
Yeah. We're going to have you back on and we'll just do a music one.
Oh gosh. Well, see, that's another thing I had to explain to my hubby. That's the reason I grew up loving Rod. And so, because I was a music fan too. I was a music kid too, growing up listening to all that stuff. And I told him, this was important to us growing up. Like all the music stuff. It was hugely important to us.
Rod's good about
he's a little bit older than me, but he understands because he grew up with Zeppelin and all those guys too. So, but I love talking about music because it's just what you talked about. It's you don't have to be blown away by it to understand what it meant and like how important it was. Like
I try to have an appreciation of stuff even if I don't like it or if I'm not into it. I try and have an appreciation of at least like musically and with a couple of other things. It's like I don't get it, but I appreciate that it means so much to so many people.
Me too.
If that makes
I like
sense. Yeah.
I like anything that's positive that touches people. So
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our next question. It's from Ashley Wilkins at Buster Healer Mix on Twitter. And she says, cauliflower, just broccoli's ghost?
you know what?
It might
That's such a
be.
good point, but it might be. I
There's a
believe
lot of
that they're
ghost questions
nutritionally
today.
different. I think they're nutritionally different, but I don't know enough to say anything, and I don't want to embarrass myself. So I'm just going to say yes, it's ghost broccoli.
I'm a little over
Totally.
cauliflower. Like, I just think I think keto kind of ruined cauliflower for so many people because everybody's making like, oh, it's cauliflower pizza. It's just as good as regular pizza. I'm like, no, it's not, because it's not real pizza.
No,
Real
it's
pizza's
not.
as good as
It's
real
not.
pizza. I don't care. Like, if you're vegetarian, oh, but this hamburger that we made out of just like vegetarian stuff is just as good as the regular Whopper. No, it's not. It's not a real one, so it's not.
No, it's not. Yeah,
Hey, how about this burger that doesn't taste like shit that's made out of vegetarian stuff? It's like, it's crazy that you have to tell me that this doesn't taste like shit. Like, that's what you're advertising.
that you know that's like the first place my brain goes to when you tell me
It's
that
already
it's a plant
shitty.
burger.
Yeah. It's plant-based only. It's like, so we know that tastes like shit, and it's not
So tell
gonna
me
no.
immediately why I'm not going to regret spending money on this. Yeah.
No, just try it. Like, do you think a lot of vegans are going to Burger King? Probably not.
No.
We're gonna open our mindset to everybody else. Is broccoli or is cauliflower broccoli's ghost? I'm friends off with cauliflower.
Yes, and I understand you. Like, cauliflower has gotten too big for its britches.
It sucks. It tastes like water. It doesn't have a flavor to it. It tastes like whatever you put on it. Like, which is like broccoli tastes like broccoli.
Well, it thinks it's pizza now, and it needs to get over itself.
Just
Like
be yourself. Be yourself.
cauliflower.
All right, just be who you are. You don't gotta try and
You're not
pretend
pizza.
what
You're cauliflower, and you
Just
can
be
you can
you.
be good just like you are as
You'll
cauliflower.
be fine as cauliflower. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say cauliflower could be the ghost of broccoli. Like, you take away the flavor and all that stuff, and you just think it's cauliflower.
Yeah, no, that's a great question.
Our next question is from Tim Kostanek at the 1T6291115. That's a lot of letters or a lot of numbers. Tim says, if animals could talk, which one would be the nicest and which would be the meanest? Dog and
I feel
cat.
like dolphins would be super awesome and fun to hang out with.
Dolphins would
They look
probably be
really
too.
happy,
It's a good call.
don't they?
Yeah, dolphins would be cool. But I gotta say, like, dogs would be the nicest. Like, dogs are the nicest already anyways. Like, hey, what are you doing? You wanna play? You wanna hang out? Like, what's happening? Like, so dogs
you're
definitely.
right.
And then cats are just assholes.
That's their best quality, though.
Right. No, but that's why I think people, like, that's why there's cat people. It's like, they appreciate that about them.
That's exactly correct. You're exactly correct on both counts. Cats are assholes, and cat people appreciate them because they're assholes.
Yeah. Well, like, I don't know. Like, I think it's cool. Like, you can just leave with a cat and just like, here's food. See you fucker in 2 days.
Isn't it great? Oh my gosh, that's why they rock.
Yeah, like, I don't have cats, but like, it's like with my dog, I'm like, oh, let me see if I can get somebody to watch it while I'm out of town. If I can't take her with me, then I gotta go pick her up. Like, you know, like it's just like there's a lot of little things that, like, I understand where it's like, that is convenient having a cat. Like, you don't have to walk it. Like, but you do have to clean up its shit in your house, which is pretty gross to me. But like I don't know. There's a lot.
It's just whatever trade-off you're willing to make. I was raised
feel like
with
cats,
cat.
like, a lot of times, like, I feel like some people get cats because they're too lazy to get a dog, really. Where it's like, I don't want to walk it. I don't want to do this.
I don't want to walk a dog every day.
Which makes sense. Like, if you live in New York and you have a cat, it makes more sense than having a dog because it's like, I can leave it here.
Truthfully, if I were more of a homebody, I love dogs. I want to farm so badly. Like, I would have every fluffy thing that walked. I would have Noah's Ark at my house if I could. But but it's just I travel too much, so I feel like it would be unfair to put a dog in a kennel all the time.
Yeah,
I would just feel bad about myself. Like, I would feel like my poor dog is like being emotionally abused because I'm never there. Or I'm there so sporadically. So cats seem less affected by it, I guess.
Yeah, cats are kind of like, good. Like, there's that meme when everybody started working from home where the dogs are like, oh, good. We get to hang out all the time. And cats are like, what the fuck are you still doing here?
Exactly. Oh, no, they're just, they
you be
are
gone?
great. If you're very jet setty, or if you're real, just in and out of the house a lot, cats are better just from a convenience standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time I've said anything nice about cats in like a long, long time. But that's a
You know
pretty
what?
like we had like a bunch of stuff we could have said, but I feel like dogs and cats just right off the bat is like that's such an easy answer. So let's go with that.
Okay,
Dogs,
great. I'm
nicest.
down with that.
Because dogs, there's no other animal that would be nicer than a dog, I don't think. Because dogs are like, hey,
No,
buddy.
I think you're right. I'm a cat person, and cats are totally assholes. Totally.
But when you come home to a dog, like the dog is the nicest thing ever. Like my girlfriend's never been as nice to me as my dog is when I get home. And it's like,
My mother's never been as nice to me as dogs
Like,
are.
oh
Yeah,
my God, I didn't think you were ever coming back. Holy shit, you're here. Oh my God, I'm so happy. Wheezy always, she jumps up and you're like, yes, I am glad I'm here. I missed you too. Like that's the nicest animal for sure.
For sure. I agree.
That was a good question, Tim. And our final question we got before I let you off the hook here. It's this is from Cassie J, the Squatch God. She's a mystery. We've never met her, and we don't know why she's the Squatch God, but that's what she emails us in as. And Cassie says, if you add sea salt to food, does it make it seafood?
No, it makes it sea salt food.
Boom.
I don't know how else to answer that.
If you get your salt from the sea, though, if you get your salt from the sea and then you put it on food, technically, it's a little seafoody, right?
I suppose it depends on how inclusive your definition of seafood is. See what I did there? Don't I sound woke?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very
Talking about
woke.
inclusive definitions of seafood.
Yep. If you're all inclusive and you determine that no matter what identifies as sea creatures,
I think I'm going to be extra woke today and say it totally counts as seafood. Let's include sea salt.
That's my favorite thing about like now. Like I get like there's things that we need to like identify and get better about as people, but like I like that like we can just be like, nope, everything is this then. Everything is this. Like we joke on the podcast and Pat hates it, but I always talk about everything in the world is a boomerang. Whether or not it's a good boomerang, that's up for debate. But if you throw anything, it's a boomerang. This pen's a boomerang.
It is.
It's a good boomerang because it's not coming back, but it's a boomerang nonetheless. And then this all started with ladles, where I was like, anything you put a handle on is a ladle. Like no matter like this beer is a okay ladle because you can fill it up a little bit if you put a handle on it. But if you put a handle on anything, it's a ladle. It can be a shitty ladle, but it's a ladle nonetheless. And like once you can wrap your head around that, you're like, oh, now I'm woke. Anything is everything, and everything is anything.
I never realized how many definitions of ladle that I was disincluding in my assessment of the ladle community.
Anything in the world. Right? We're all ladles. Are you going to be a good ladle today or a bad ladle? That's what
I hope I can be a good ladle today, and include all the other labels in our group. I think
you're a good ladle for sure. You're a good ladle for sure. All right, that was our answer segment, and that was it. You did it. Thank you so much for hanging out and doing this today. This was a lot of fun to finally like hang out and talk. I definitely want to have you back on. Go vote at Liz Marshall Fit in your bio. You have the link to go vote for you to be on the cover of Maxim, right?
That's right. It's right there in the bio. It's easy to get to.
At Liz Marshall Fit. Thank you again for coming on. This has been a lot of fun, and yeah, you just hopped right into like, a lot of people aren't like they don't hop right into the PTG thing, and you were just like, I get it. We'll go off on weird tangents. I'm cool, and I like that about you.
I was excited to talk to you, Alex.
This was a lot of fun. I can't wait to do it again. And go vote for Liz Marshall at Liz Marshall Fit. And until we talk to you guys next time, pass the gravy, you bitches.
Bum, bottom, bum, bottom.